Stewart Cable, Channel 5 presents from Cherry Hill East High School, the opening round of the 1993 NJSI AA Wrestling Championship. Hi everybody, Nick Burzichelli along with Steve Anuszewski and John Vogeding, and tonight we're at the first rounds of the state tournament, and we'll see the winners from Region 7 and 8 who advance in the preliminaries. We'll be doing the quarterfinals tonight. We'll be working off the two mats. And John, we're going on and we're wrestling right now the first round in a preliminary match. We see at 189 pounds, Mike Bell is wrestling. He's losing right now 4-3. But tonight's tournament, a good wrestling tournament because we see the place winners from 7 and 8 going up against each other.
Oh, I don't think there's any question, Nick. It's not the best of ways to run a state tournament by having 4 different locations around the state for the first 2 rounds. The rounds tonight are the preliminary round and the pre-quarterfinal round. The 2 winners tonight and the 2 losers in the second round both go to Atlantic City for on Friday night, and they will wrestle this year. Last year, second place, if he didn't, if the fellow that beat him didn't win on Friday night, he was out of the tournament. This year, everybody wrestles. But we're watching right now Mike Bell on one mat and Vince Layton and West Effort on the other mat, as we're up to 171 pounds on the right, 189 pounds on the left, and this first round action is almost complete, and then we'll have live action for the public.
Steve, John already alluded to the first round of wrestling tonight. If you lose, you're out of the tournament, but in the quarterfinals, the rounds that we're going to cover tonight, every wrestler will wrestle in Atlantic City.
Yeah, that's the pre-quarterfinals, Nick, and in that round, it is a change. Anybody that can advance to the round tonight gets a ticket to it. The round that's going on right now gets a ticket to Atlantic City. But there's some great matches that are going to be coming up in that next round. Justin Hurst and Bobby Hansen at 112, a rematch of last year's state semifinal. Ernie Maiden and Brett Matter at 119, another great match. At 140, Jim Dively and Ricky Koss. There's going to be some real barn burners coming up in this next round.
So we're looking forward to some great wrestling in this quarterfinal round. We're going to take a quick break, come back to Cherry Hill East High School right after this. And welcome back to Cherry Hill East High School. We're on mat number 1 where we're going to see Sean Reynolds of Pemberton. He is a senior and he's 26-1 going up against Dave Sterling from Absegami. He's 26-2, just a sophomore.
Next.
Tonight, Steve will be on mat number 1, and we're going to have John Vogeding working mat number 2, and that quickly, it's 2-1.
Sterling leading 2-1, Nick. Went in on a barrel roll, picked up the takedown, and then let Reynolds escape. Reynolds is a senior from Pemberton. He's a Region 7 champion. And Dave Sterling from Absegami is a sophomore, and he's the Region 8 runner-up.
Stan, we watched Dave Sterling in tonight's, I guess, preliminary rounds. He pinned his opponent, Brad Byer of Lenape, 1 minute and 19 seconds, and that's been traditional this sophomore. I mean, he's been going out pinning people.
Yeah, he's a pinner, Nick, and if he catches you on your back, as he's going for right here, he's very dangerous. There you see a takedown by Reynolds.
So Reynolds now leads 3-2 over the sophomore from Absegami, and of course, Absegami's head coach is Gene Barber, Region 8 Coach of the Year.
Yeah, and Pemberton is coached by Andy Zuckerman.
Not a bad wrestler of those days.
Former state champion and former national runner-up in the corners.
So a great coaching staff here at 103 pounds on mat number 1. The official for the tonight's match looks like Dave Smith. We've seen Dave on Channel 5 a few times.
And he's assisted by Barry Jackson, former Edgewood coach.
55 seconds remaining in the first period. Reynolds of Pemberton leading 3-2.
He appears to be in pretty good shape here, Nick, in control, riding a ball and chain, and now going for a cross-face cradle.
You know, Steve, have you noticed during this first round of wrestling, have the refs been calling stalling more often than we've seen during a regular season, or are they pretty consistent?
I think it's been pretty consistent, Nick. I didn't see a whole lot of stall calls in these earlier matches, but look in some of the closer contested bouts here in the pre-quarter final round to see some quick stalls. I think that You're going to see a lot of quick stalling this weekend in Atlantic City, and don't expect any different here.
28 seconds remaining in the first period, and Dave Sterling of Absegami losing by a score of 3-2, and we just saw head coach Gene Barber.
Yeah, Reynolds' only loss this year is to an Absegami wrestler, Nick. It's up at 112 pounds. He lost to Grams, Jamie Grams of Absegami by a score of 10-4. Sterling's only loss was in the region final to Mike Fithian of Pennsville.
And Mike Fithian tonight's going up against James Butera of Hamilton West, and Butera's 27-6.
Yeah, I can see Fithian winning that bout and advancing to the quarters. I thought this would be a real dogfight here, and so far it has been, Nick. Reynolds appears to be a really good topside wrestler, though, and he does a lot of leg riding and controls wrist real well. He's in a little bit of trouble here, though, Nick.
2 seconds remaining in the first period.
I was looking
He
there.
escapes it. Yeah, I thought maybe we got a defensive pin there.
Yeah, he was a little close, and of course falls in high school are 2 seconds. A lot of times the fans don't realize that, and a lot of coaches don't realize that, but 2 seconds is a pretty long time, and it does give you an opportunity when you're in a defensive situation to get the pin.
So that's the end of the first period. Reynolds leading the match 3-2 over Dave Sterling of Absegami, and there's the escape. It's now 4-2, Reynolds of Pemberton leading.
And here in a match like this, it's really important. The pressure's on Dave Sterling right now to get the takedown. And Reynolds is in on a barrel roll. Switching off to a single, and Sterling wisely finds the line.
1:37 remaining in the first period. I'm just taking a look briefly over mat number 2 where the heavyweight division is just finishing up. It looks like Steve Randazzo of Haddon Township pins Mike Gattuso of West Defford.
Yeah, a rematch of one of the best matches I've seen, and it was on Channel 5 where it also resulted in a fall by Randazzo, but at the time Gattuso was winning, and it was just one heck of a match. In fact, it decided the West Defford Haddon Township dual meet this year, Nick.
Yeah, that was probably the best match that I've seen in a long time, and a lot of gutsy wrestling by Gattuso in that match.
Here's a situation, like I said, Nick, where there's a lot of pressure on Sterling to get a takedown. If the wrestler from Pemberton, Sean Reynolds, can get a takedown here, he can really take a nice lead, 6-2, and there you see on the line an attempt at a headlock, but he ran out of mat space.
1:07 remaining in the first period. It's Sean Reynolds of Pemberton leading 4-2, the first match of tonight's round on Channel 5. It's the pre-quarterfinals.
Little bleeding, a nosebleed, I believe, by Reynolds there, Nick.
Steve, tonight's match is brought to you by Donna Burt's Custard Stand, 635 West Broad Street in Paulsboro. Donna Burt's is now open for the season. Stop by and check out their burger specials. Hamburgers 5 for $3.25, cheeseburgers 5 for $3.75. From custard to burgers, from cheese fries to ice cream cakes, make Donna Burt's your choice. Donna Burt's Custard Stand on Broad Street in Paulsboro.
I've been going to Donna Burt's all my life, Nick.
Well, I wasn't going to say it shows, but I'll hold off on that then. 1:05 remaining in the second period. It's really been Sean Reynolds of Pemberton in control of this match over the young sophomore Dave Sterling of Absegami.
Here's a situation where a senior and a sophomore, both, it is their first trip to the state tournament, but it appears that Sean Reynolds is a little bit stronger than Sterling, but Sterling's a very explosive wrestler, and if he can come up with a big move here, I think that's his best chance. It seems that Reynolds is really keeping the pressure on him by taking a lot of shots.
Yeah, and Sterling is known for the big throws. I remember the semifinal rounds of the Region 8 competition. He was throwing Seneca Cooper around, getting the big back points at will at some point.
Yeah, he did a good job against Cooper in that semifinal, advancing to the final. And both of these guys have only tasted defeat one time all year. Reynolds wrestled a lot of matches this year at 112 pounds. And Sterling basically has been a 103-pounder all year, mainly because Absegami had a pretty tough 112-pounder in Jamie Grams.
So stalemate called here. 12 seconds remaining in the second period. Sean Reynolds of Pemberton leading 4-2. 103 pounds. And again, this round right here, winners and losers advance. Winners go to the winner's side, and the losers go to the loser's bracket, and the loser can still wrestle as far up to third place.
Right. The winners would be in the state quarterfinal round, and the losers would go into the first round of wrestlebacks, which will be wrestled simultaneously. There's Andy Zuckerman in the corner.
Zuckerman
he's
to the
on
right.
the right. And they will be wrestled simultaneously on 8 mats in Convention Hall Friday night. Sterling on the bottom here, Nick.
Sterling needs an escape. He's down by 2 points.
And once again, Reynolds getting the grapevine in. He's at least got one in. There's the other one. He's trying to extend him, get a power half, and get some back points. Nothing yet.
You know, if I recall Andy Zuckerman when he wrestled for Burlington Township, I believe he was a leg man. Northern Burlington. Thanks. You heard John Vogeding.
Northern Burlington
came from
and
the sky.
Pemberton. I think he won the state title while at Northern Burlington, but he also did some wrestling for Pemberton. A transfer, I believe in his senior year.
Did that? No, I think he wrestled for Pemberton early in his career, didn't he? And then he switched over to Northern.
Right, in his senior year.
So I think he was there as junior and senior year, 2 years.
Oh, 2 years.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, John.
Well, Reynolds has Sterling in big trouble. We're going to see some back points here. Nothing awarded. And there's the 2 points back point. So Reynolds now leading 6-2 over Sterling of Apsagami.
And Sterling really needs to get going here if he's going to get back in this match. Reynolds in control.
You know, Reynolds has been doing an excellent job on top this whole match.
And he's controlled the whole bout, and here it looks like there might be some injury time for Sterling. Either that or just a headgear, Nick.
Just a little equipment timeout. It slipped over his head.
Got some big ones coming up soon, Nick.
My favorite's coming is at 112 pounds. There's no question about that. It's probably the most powerful weight class in this year's state tournament.
And that's Safara is going to go against Lamafa. That's Mike Safara from Shawnee against Joe Lamafa from Highland. And a rematch of the
Bobby Hansen and
semifinals of
Justin Hurst,
the state tournament where Justin Hurst won 5-2 last year is Bobby Hansen and Justin Hurst.
You just saw a quick crowd shot of over 2,500 people here to watch the first 2 rounds. And John Vogeding, of course, up on his stats just signals to me it's 13-13, Region 8 versus Region 7, deadlocked in the first round. 13 wins for Region 8 and 13 wins for Region 7.
It's really amazing, you know, when you stop to think about it. So I think Steve was figuring out
parity
what it was last year before.
14-9, Region 8 in the first round.
Right, and this year 13-13. Boy, the parity's really caught up.
38 seconds remaining in the third period. It's all Sean Reynolds of Pemberton.
Reynolds doing a good job with that Turk. He doesn't really have the leg hook, but he's in good position. Riding a cross wrist ride, which a lot of pressure there. Sterling's done a nice job all year, and he's still going to go on, Nick. He'll go on to the wrestlebacks, barring a big move here. Sean Reynolds is going to advance to the state quarterfinals.
Sean Reynolds is a senior, right, Steve?
Sean Reynolds is a senior.
Might well be wrestling in that South Jersey Hall of Fame meet at Paulsboro on March 16th because down in Region 8, the 4 finalists were freshmen, 2 sophomores, and a junior, and only seniors are eligible. And this will be the highest finishing senior in Region 7 and 8, Reynolds.
Yeah, I'm sure he won't mind wrestling, but I wonder if the 7-pound allowance is going to be enough for him.
Well, that's it at 103 pounds where Sean Reynolds of Pemberton defeats Dave Sterling of Apsagami by a score of 8-2. Excuse me, that was 6-2. There were no back points there.
Down on the other mat, Nick.
At mat 2, it looks like Mike Fithian of Pennsville going up against James Butera.
Yeah, and Fithian's losing right now. Butera of Hamilton West got the early takedown in the first period. Fithian, who's 28-0 entering that bout, come back and got a reversal. And then Butera escaped late in the first period. In this second period, Butera started on the bottom. The only thing that's happened so far is Fithian's got a stalling call. So it's 3-2. Butera, who came in with 27-6 into that bout. Of his 6 losses, the last 2 were to Reynolds in the District 25 final and in the Region 7 tournament. He lost 16-7.
We're at mat number 1 again, where we're going to see at 112 pounds, Joe Lamafa of Highland. Joe Lamafa, a junior, he's 29-3, going up against Mike Safara of Shawnee. He's a senior, he's 22-1.
Yeah, Joe Lamafa, second in the Region 8 tournament, losing in the finals to Bobby Hansen for the second straight year, and Mike Safara for the second straight week defeated state runner-up Justin Hurst, and they've met, I believe, 6 times during their high school career, and that's his first 2 wins over, well, I think he has 3 wins in 9 tries, if I think that's correct. 3 wins in 9 matches.
Watching Lamothe on the first round tonight, he technical fouled his opponent 20-3. He tech fouled Greg Harrison of Delran, and Steve, the way he did it, he was picking people up and throwing them down. Big 5-point moves.
Joe Lamothe was a very physical wrestler. Mike Safara, excellent on his feet. I saw Mike Safara in a scrimmage early in the year, and very good on his feet. And this is a really tough weight class, Nick.
I think it is the most powerful weight class in this tournament. I mean, you have the state champion, the #1 seed, and Steve, I'm going to let you pronounce his name.
Indra Suliakasumo from Manalapan, defending state champion. He's the #1 seed. And Ken Rossi from Jefferson, who's been to the state finals before and finished 3rd last year, is the #2 seed. This is a really packed weight class, and it's really packed here in South Jersey, Region 7 and 8. And the winner of this match, I think, can go a long way, Nick.
Well, 23 seconds remaining in the scoreless first period, 112 pounds. It's Joe Lamothe of Highland.
And Mike Safara. Mike Safara is a senior. He's 22-1. His only loss is to Justin Hurst, state runner-up, and he'll be coming up soon against Bobby Hansen, probably on mat #2.
And Lamothe taking a quick injury timeout. Just taking a brief look on mat #2. It's still Mike Fithian of Pennsville down by 1 point, John.
Well, he just got a stalling point called against him, so it's 4-2 with 5 seconds left in the second period. And James Butera of Hamilton West, coming in with 6 losses, is beating the undefeated Fithian of Pennsville.
And we're back on mat #1, Steve. 17 seconds remaining in the first period. Again, no points.
Here are 2 wrestlers that are excellent on their feet, Nick. I thought that that's the strength of Joe Lamothe, and I also think that it's Mike Safara's strength. So this is going to be an excellent match. It'll be interesting to see what Lamothe can do on top, because he's really good with the legs.
No takedown yet. Lamothe having the wizard in. So nice job by Lamothe keeping the wizard in, staying in a neutral position, and going into the second period scoreless. So it's a final over there on mat #2, John. Fithian goes down.
No,
Well,
third period? Okay,
Yeah,
third
they got a
period.
little break here. Somebody got a little bit dinged up over there, so they have it's 4-2 with Pennsville as Fithian will be on the bottom. Lamothe's only losses this year, Nick, as we saw, were to Viola of Western Branch, Justin Hurst of Lenape, and Bob Hansen of Buna in the regional final.
And we're back on mat #1. Lamothe in control and loses it, and there's the escape by Mike Safara of Shawnee, and leads the match 1-0 with that escape.
Seems like there's a little injury here, Nick, to Safara. Safara asked for injury time. I think his knee might have gotten twisted.
Well, I tell you what, Steve, this is all through this tournament I've seen a lot of injury timeouts, blood timeouts, sick timeouts. This is the longest first and second rounds of the states I've been to in a long time.
Well, I think there is going to be a lot of injury timeouts. The guys are really battling out there. I don't know if in college, I think they're down to a minute and a half injury time.
Let's go over to mat #2, John. You can update us in the Fithian match.
What happened down there is at 1:49 remaining in the match, Fithian got an escape. He's narrowed the score to 4-3, but he's got to do some hustling here. He's the undefeated wrestler. Butera, the wrestler from Hamilton West, with 6 losses, and right now he's winning the match 4-3. Minute and 27 seconds left.
Fithian, of course, had a bye in the preliminary tonight because he is the Region 8 winner.
Yeah,
but James Butera, he advanced tonight by winning over Bill Lucas of Woodbury, 10-1.
Yeah, impressive win. I mean, we saw Billy Lucas down in the District 29 finals. We saw him down in the regionals, and he looked pretty tough to me, Nick. And I'm really surprised that a wrestler with 6 losses was able to beat him by that margin. And Butera's in on the takedown again. He's winning 4-3, and he's really putting a lot of pressure on Fithian, the unbeaten wrestler from Pennsville.
You know, just like in any type of tournament, all you really need is a good tournament, and you're a state champion. Forget about the wins and losses. All you need is a good Friday and Saturday, and you got an opportunity of being a state champion. 41 seconds remaining in this match. Fiffian of Pennsville down by a score of 4-3.
Yeah, and the time is really running. I mean, there's 30 seconds left. Butera just pulled a great move there. He went with his feet to the out-of-bounds side, so now he's got 50 and forced inside, and there's nothing he can do.
Yep.
If he releases, he's going to give up 2 points.
There's the takedown right
anywhere.
there. So that may be the icing on the cake for James Butera.
Oh, brother.
Hamilton West.
A little bit of an upset
leading
there.
6-3, yeah.
I think that's a big upset. And it seems like Region 7 is really showing their wares tonight, which is something that we didn't see last year.
9 seconds remaining in this match, and Mike Fiffian on the bottom from Pennsville. He needs a big one here. He needs an escape and a takedown to tie this match.
Now what you're going to have going into the next round of the state tournament Friday night, you're going to have 2 winners from Region 7 and 2 wrestlers from Region 8 in the wrestlebacks.
8 seconds remaining. There was a caution there. Five seconds. Fiffian not able to do it. He's going to have his first loss of the year in the second round of the NJSI AA Wrestling Tournament. James Butera wins that match by a score of 6-3. And we'll see Butera getting his hand raised. And while that's happening, Steve, we're at mat number 1 again, and there's 9 seconds remaining in the Lamafa match. You want to bring us up to date on this?
Yeah, in the second period, Mike Safar of Shawnee scored an escape, Nick, and then took Joe Lamafa of Highland down with a single leg takedown with about 45 seconds to go. And now with 12 seconds to go, excuse me, it says 12 seconds on the scoreboard, and they're going to there's 3 dots for the third period, so I'm not exactly sure what's going on here.
There's a delay in the action.
I know that, and,
We're waiting.
and
The
down on mat number 2, Nick, is the rematch from the state semifinals, and that's Justin Hurst and Bob Hansen from Buna. Justin Hurst from Lenape and Bob Hansen from Buna.
And Justin Hurst, of course, from Lenape, is 27-4, going up against Bob Hansen of Buna, the Region 8 champion, undefeated at 30-0. Looks like, Steve, on this mat, we are in the third period. The beginning of the third period.
Yeah, started third
period.
period.
Leading 3-0.
And on top, and he uses an optional start there against Lamafa from Highland. The optional start is Safar feels he can beat him on his feet.
3-1 now the score, right? For you guys?
That's correct. Lamafa needing a takedown here to tie this match.
Safar's in on a single again on the line. He's going to try to get some motion and get this takedown. He needs to move Lamafa. The more motion he can get, the tougher for Lamafa to counter this takedown.
Oh, that was a beautiful back heel trip. No points awarded yet because Lamafa, again, in deep end on the single, but how long can he hang on for? And there it is. He doesn't get...
Nick, he's got the leg turked, and
there's the
that's
takedown.
2. What he needs to do now is get some height and take him to his back, but he can use up a lot of time with that Turk right in. And in tournament wrestling, the name of the game is to advance. Pins mean absolutely nothing except getting off the mat, technical falls, major decisions. All you need to do is win.
109 remaining in this 112-pound match, and Lamafa down by a score of 5-1.
5-1.
Yeah, and as John and you probably pointed out already, Region 8 having a very difficult time so far, and we're only at 112 pounds.
Well, there's a lot of wrestling to go, Nick, but at this point, Region 8 has lost 2 matches, as losing a third, and they're going to have a dogfight on their hands on mat number 2 also.
Lamafa getting the escape. Safari of Shawnee now leading 5-2. 45 seconds remaining in this period.
Lamafa being very aggressive here, Nick, and he needs to be. 45 seconds left in his quest to go into the quarterfinals of the state tournament, and Safara takes injury time. Not exactly sure what's wrong with him here.
With that injury time, let's go to mat number 2, where John Vogeding has been watching an outstanding match between Bob Hansen of Buna and Justin Hurst of Lenape.
And the score is 0-0 after 1. A lot of sparring in the first period, but no scoring. Hansen is going to start the second period down. Got a caution given to Hansen.
John, I don't know if this is the time to raise this, but with this, the way the format is now with Region 7 and 8 going up against each other, you know, now 7 and 8, both wrestlers are knocking each other out. You have a person who placed second in the state last year, Justin Hurst, and a person who places third. And tonight, right into the second round, one of them's going to the loser's bracket and one of them's going to winner's bracket.
All of which means the one guy can still advance and try to win a state title, and the other guy can do no better than third in the state. Well, it's not exactly the ideal positioning for a state tournament, but it's better than having it a week, 2 weeks later, and maybe,
or not having it at all,
or not having any wrestlebacks. And at least now the loser tonight in the first round is eliminated from the tournament, but the second place guy is going to wrestle Friday night.
And Steve, we're back at mat number 1. 18 seconds remaining in this match, and Lamafa of Highland down by a score of 5-2 over Mike Safara. Yeah,
he's trying some desperate shots here, and he needs to. Safara's done a great job, and there's a point for Joe Lamafa for stalling. So I'm not sure if that was stalling during the match or stalling getting back to the center.
Well, Lamafa was awarded a point, so 17 seconds remaining in the third period. We're just checking to make sure that it's right. Yep, Lamafa gets a point. It's 5-3. Lamafa needing a takedown here to tie it.
But Safara keeping the heat on him, Nick. He's really doing a good job staying aggressive.
9 seconds remaining.
Last chance for Lamafa.
3 seconds remaining in the third period. Lamafa down by 2. Needs a takedown to put this match in overtime.
Time to get on your bicycle for Mike Safara, Nick.
Good shot by Lamafa, but it's not going to be enough. Mike Safara of Shawnee will advance with a score of 5-3 over Highland's Joe Lamafa.
And don't count Joe Lamafa out, Nick. I think he's going to go pretty far in the wrestlebacks.
So we're back, John, at mat number 2. It's now score 1-0.
1-0, and that's the escape by Justin Hurst, who entered the match 27-4. Pretty impressive 27-4. He's got 2 losses this year to the defending state champion, Indra Soliakasumo from Manalapan, by a fall and by a 5-4 score, and he lost twice to Mike Safara of Shawnee, who we just saw win 6-4 and 4-2 in overtime in the Region 7 finals.
So 17 seconds remaining in the second period at 112 pounds here.
And Bob Hansen walked into that match 30-0, the Region 8 champion, and right now he's losing 1-0.
And while we're watching that match, we have Steve Anuszewski on mat 1 watching Ernie Maiden of Paulsboro. Ernie Maiden, a senior with a record of 31-2. He's going up against Brett Matter of Delran, undefeated at 29-0.
29-0 and a sophomore, Nick.
So, John, we're now in the third period on mat number 2. Second and third in the state last year, both wrestlers.
Yeah, Hansen is one that's leading 1-0.
Yeah, Hansen
I'm sorry,
I was
looking at, maybe I said it backwards before, but Hansen started second period down, third period down. Hurst is starting on the bottom. Hansen 30-0, leading 1-0 over Justin Hurst, who's 27-4.
Let's see, I'm looking at the anklet bands here.
That was the second caution given to Buna. Got a caution in the second period. This is the third period. That's the second caution. One more time, and it's a point. Hansen really has his work cut out here, Nick. Hansen's on top, leading 1-0.
Justin Hurst of Lenape on the bottom. He's in a red singlet.
Right. John Tedis, the official on the mat, assisted by Joe DeRillo.
Well, he's been around a long time.
Who, Joe DeRillo?
No. Oh, jeez.
John Tedis.
John Tedis, yeah.
Well, when they invented those black and white stripes, I think he got one of the first issues.
Yeah, I think he may have been one of the officials in my senior year in my semifinal match up there in Princeton, who had a very difficult time knowing where the line is and where I was, but that's neither here nor there. 1:08 remaining in the third period.
Yeah.
112 pounds still. 1-0, Bob Hansen of Buna.
John Tedis, of course, Nick, has done all levels of the high school wrestling. He also does quite a bit of college officiating. And been around a long time. I know he was officiating back in the 60s, Nick. This is the 90s.
just under a minute here. 112-pound weight class. Hansen, the third place in NJSIAA at 103 pounds last year. And Justin Hurst, the runner-up at 103 pounds. 45 seconds remaining in the third and final period.
Over on mat number 1, Nick, there's no score at the end of 1. Maiden and Matter.
Wow. Almost a caution there, Nick, by Hansen. It looked like he almost started too fast, and if he had been called for the caution, it would have been a tie score.
That would have cost him, and you don't want to give up points right now. There's only 33 seconds remaining in this match.
Kind of thought Joe Dorillo, the assistant on the mat, he kind of flinched a little bit. Maybe he kind of thought there was a caution. Well, we'll see. The fresh start coming up. Hansen is leading 1-0 over Justin Hurst. 27 seconds left. Hansen has been hit with 2 cautions. Next one's a point.
Again.
There it was. There it was. That ties it up. I thought he started.
You saw it coming earlier. You had anticipated that, and right away, with just 26 seconds remaining in this third period, it's tied 1-1. Justin Hurst of Lenape on the bottom, in a position here, really, to win this match.
Well, if he clinches again, if Hansen quick starts again, he's out of it.
24 seconds remaining.
1-1, and
Here comes Justin Hurst.
Oh my! Oh, if he gets away, Nick, he wins it.
It's like an overtime.
Oh my!
14 seconds.
Oh
Hansen
my!
coming out. He gets the one. 10
seconds to
remaining.
go.
No takedown. 6 seconds remaining in the match. Bob Hansen of Buna leading this match over the runner-up of last year's state tournament, 103 pounds, Justin Hurst. It looks like Bob Hansen,
Hurst is going to win it. He's going to win it on that late escape.
Yep, that late escape. I'm having a difficult time looking at the green and red. I can't count. I can't see the colors, but that's it.
Yep. Bobby Hansen was a green anklet. He gave up a point on a caution with 26 seconds to go and an escape with 11 seconds.
And with that, we'll take a quick break from Cherry Hill East High School and come back right after this.
Perhaps your future's up in the air, and you just don't know it. Aim high, Air Force.
And we're back at Cherry Hill East High School, and we're at 119 pounds, Steve. We're at mat number 1, and it's scoreless right now between Ernie Maiden of Paulsboro and Brett Matter of Delran.
Matter on top, started the second period on top. There's a stalling warning on Maiden on the bottom. Now they both have been warned. Matter's really tough on top, Nick. He's held Maiden almost flat on the mat the whole period.
Matter's going to need to get to the side here, try to work for the pin because he may be called for stalling. Looks like he's working that tight waist near arm ride. He's working it real well, but he's going to have to get to the side sooner or later. And that ends
score at the end of 2, Nick.
That ends the second period at 119 pounds. We're scoreless going into the third period. Head coach Paul Marina trying to get his wrestlers' attention, give them some instructions.
Matter's going to take the defense here, Nick. And a lot of pressure on Ernie Maiden here. 0-0, and he's on top in the third period of a match that's going to take him into take the winner of this match into the state quarterfinals. 1 point for Brett Matter, 2-1. And there's a warning on Matter, but Maiden's got to put the pressure on him.
So Matter leading the match 1-0. 1:48 remaining in the third period. Ernie Maiden advances tonight with a bye, a surprising bye. He was scheduled to go up against John Quick of Hamilton West. Not really sure if he even showed up to tonight's tournament, but Maiden gets the bye and advances with that.
Never weighed in, Nick. And here Maiden's in a minute 35 to go, and he needs a takedown. Matter's been warned.
.130 remaining. And there's a takedown by...
There's a takedown by Matter. 3-0, and Maiden's in big trouble.
So Maiden really needs to get out here, needs to get some motion on the bottom. But Matter working that tight waist near arm ride, staying perpendicular, staying parallel. He's got to get to the side.
Hasn't really tried to turn Maiden, although Maiden really hasn't done much on the bottom either.
You know, this comes from a real good bloodline. You might remember his father, Brett Matter's father, was Andy Matter, who was a two-time national champion at Penn State University. He had a son wrestle last year for Delran and did not place. In fact, because I think when he came here last year, he was injured, and he ended up going to the University of Pennsylvania, not wrestling on the team over there this year.
Brett Matter was here last year and pulled off a big win over Joe LaMaffa from Highland in the first round. Boy, he's tough on top, Nick.
He really works that tight waist near arm extremely well and made him unable to even get to his base with this. Brett Matter, 29-0, Region 7 champion.
He's going to be 30-0, 30 seconds more to go, Nick.
30 seconds remaining in this match. Brett Matter of Delran leading 3-0 over Paulsboro's Ernie Maiden.
Now, in this case, I don't really see Matter doing a whole heck of a lot on top with that. 12 seconds to go.
But I know John Vogeding is looking intently on mat number 2 because we see Ed Gross of Delsey. He's 25-3. He's a senior going up against Paul Castellini of Buna. And he's Castellini 24-9, and Castellini only a sophomore.
And he impressed us, Nick, down in the Region 8 tournament. As you see the end of...
And that's the end of mat number 1, where Brett Matter of Delran defeats Paulsboro's Ernie Maiden by a score of 3-0.
Well, you really have to be impressed by Brett Matter. Ernie Maiden is a very physical wrestler, a senior, and Brett Matter controlled that whole match, Nick.
He really did dominate it, Steve. I mean, it didn't look like Maiden was really in it from the get-go.
Matter did a great job on top. Maiden just couldn't move on the bottom.
Let's go to mat 2, where John has been watching intently because of this 2-2 tie right now.
Yeah, unbelievable, Nick. 2-2, takedown by Eddie Gross in the first period. And then in the second period, Castellini's got a reversal with, he got it with 1:40 left. There's a minute 20 left, and it's running right now. Castellini and Gross both down from Region 8. Gross 25-3 this year. He lost to Bobby Hansen 2 times and Tony Rodriguez once. Castellini with 9 losses going into this match. So, you know, Gross obviously the favorite here, but he's in a deadlock 2-2.
Oh, he's in a dogfight. There's no doubt about this. I mean, Castellini, obviously the underdog.
Okay, now we just got by Joe Derillo, the official there, we got an illegal hold, and Steve Isles is going to question that. And I really didn't see what it was.
I think what happened was when they rolled through, Ed Gross may have had a scissor lock on the head.
Well, if he scissored on the head,
yeah,
if he scissored on the head, that's what it is. But that gives Castellini the lead, 3-2.
With 1:04 remaining in the second period, and this is the 119-pound weight class.
Geez, it's kind of unique. Joe Derillo hasn't thrown anybody out yet tonight.
Still 1 minute remaining in this second period, plenty of time, and of course we're only 119 pounds, so you know the odds are that he's going to get someone by the end of the night.
You know, I'm not real surprised by this, Nick and John. I think that Ed Gross is always a wrestler who starts slow in a tournament, and as the tournament goes on, he seems to pick it up. And he's on bottom, and I think that, you know, he'll pick it up this match, and from here on out, I think you'll see Ed Gross probably advance pretty far. He's the second seed at 119.
Well, and he's been 3rd and 4th in the state tournament, so he's been there before, which is ultra important. The big thing might be the weight class he's in this year, because he looks like an awfully small 19-pounder.
Yeah, he made 12 most of the year, John.
Yeah.
40 seconds remaining in the second period.
Castellini's leading 3-2, but was hit by a warning by referee Joe Derillo for stalling, so he's got to keep moving.
One thing you can say about Joe Derillo, he does know how to make a fist. Some of these guys out here, I think they forgot how to make a fist, but Joe Derillo knows how to make a fist.
Well, I've always been amazed that during the state tournament, we always see more stall warnings than we do during the regular season. And that's just the state tournament. And then when we get to Atlantic City, it's even more stall warnings, which I like it. I mean, I think it makes the wrestlers have to wrestle.
I think there's
but at least they could be consistent all year long.
Yeah, I think there's a definite difference between the officials who officiate in North Jersey and the officials who officiate in South Jersey. You've got a couple down south who will not afraid to call stalling, but there are a lot. There's a reversal with 4 seconds to go for Ed Gross.
And he's in on a near side cradle. And that really seems to be Ed Gross's trademark. He is very confident by sitting on his hips. He doesn't matter if you take a shot or you're underneath him. He'll cradle. He'll get to the side and put a near side cradle and either get the takedown with it or a near side or some back points.
We saw that a lot in the Region 8 final against Ernie Maiden. I thought Ernie Maiden took the majority of the shots, and yet it was Gross who won on a takedown 3-1. And he got that takedown the first period.
One of the most unorthodox wrestlers that I've ever seen, and he scores from the most precarious positions I've ever seen.
Well, that's why he's so dangerous.
On his hip. When he's being taken down is when he gets his big back points. He'll flip over. Just a guy that can score from anywhere, and it seems like he's got a cramp in his leg, just like he had in the region finals.
Been watching Gross throughout his career, and he really is not fazed by if someone shoots in on you on a fireman's carry or some type of dump, he ends up getting the takedown off of you. He really likes being shot in on.
Yeah, I think he has a lot of confidence in his ability to counter, and in the region final match, he took shots only when he needed to.
And he wins 3-1.
Right. And here in this match, Castellini's in again.
And this is a much better shot by Castellini, and he does get the takedown, and it's now tied 5-5, but
that's because there was an escape.
There's an escape,
and then
now
a takedown.
6-5.
There's an escape again, so it's 6-5, and that's the favorite of Castellini.
And you can see, John, again, Castellini in, but this is where Gross is the most dangerous. He's not phased at all by having Castellini in on his legs. He's working for that near side cradle and trying to maybe get Castellini off bounds.
If I coached Ed Gross, I think he would drive me crazy, Nick. I mean, the whole darn match, he's on his hip. He's in these kind of situations, out like there, looks like a pretzel.
Yep.
It's potentially dangerous.
Got a stalemate there, and 6-5 is the score. It looks like Gross is cramping again. Gross is winning 6-5.
Some people might say that his lung is cramping, John.
So there's 1:13 remaining in the match with Gross and Castellini, but let's go to mat number 1, Steve.
Where Bo Buer is wrestling and just scored a big move on Josh Lashley from Delran, the two-time Region 7 champion. And he leads in that match 5-3, Nick. 55 seconds to go, second period.
And we're back at mat number 2 where Gross and Castellini
in a neutral
are
position.
neutral.
Minute left in the match, and Gross is leading by a single point. Well, he's got that half pry in there, Nick.
Yeah, he looks like he's spinning around. Probably want to try to snap it down and spin behind.
Well, he's driving hard for the ankle.
He's
hooked the ankle.
Almost Western rode the ankle. Almost got the Western ride, but Castellini doing a good job facing him.
Brother. That's what I saw in Region 8. Castellini, just don't quit, and he's going to get a takedown here, Nick.
Maybe.
I'd almost have to agree with you, but Ed Gross is going to find a way to stalemate this or get the takedown. And you know what? Joe Carrillo is on to Ed Gross's game because he called for a stalemate. He called a stalemate, 28 seconds remaining in this match, and Gross leading 6-5.
28 seconds left. Oh, brother.
I really wonder about this injury time, too. I know the referee's job, John and Nick, is safety here, but I really have to say that you wonder sometimes how a guy can go like gangbusters and then the same thing hurts him.
Well,
there's a shot by Castellini.
You got to see some of the acts out in the Nationals.
Here's Gross stepping over, throws a cross body right in. It's going to be potentially dangerous. The match is going to stop, and we'll see what happens.
1 point.
So Castellini going to get 1 point here, John. Maybe you can. Ed Gross agony over the call.
Well, we got a tie.
17
Whatever it
seconds
was,
remaining
with
in the
17
third
seconds left, Arillo called a penalty point.
Did Ed Gross have his hands double arm bar in the back and had it? That's what happened. 13 seconds. Castellini in on a double. We're tied 6-6. 9 seconds left. We could see an overtime here. 5 seconds. Castellini trying to pop the head.
Scissors up there.
2. 1 second. This match on mat number 2 is in overtime. They're putting 2 minutes on the clock. My favorite part of the sport going on right now.
Advantage Castellini, Nick. Advantage Castellini, I think, here.
And Castellini in again.
Oh, my. He's been in so deep. 3 times now he's been in so deep, and Gross has gotten out of it. He's like a snake out there.
Well, I think that's what had happened. You saw Castellini shoot in right there, and Gross tried to bar arm.
Right.
I think what happened, he locked up, and when he barred it, both hands were on the spinal cord, and that's why he got the 1 point that put him in overtime right here. And Gross, again, taking some injury timeout. I'm curious to see how much time he has on that clock, because, John, the injury timeout carries over also, or do we start over with the new injury clock? I don't know.
No, carries over. Everything carries over. Everything. See Castellini taking another shot.
Gross in good position here, though, guys.
Oh, a dangerous move. Gross tries on the line with a 132.
Dangerous and...
it worked. Well, we're starting over, so
yes.
I guess when you're going to hit that move, that's the time to do it. We're in overtime here, 119 pounds. Ed Gross of Delsey going up against Paul Castellini of Buna.
The sophomore against the senior. You've got to be careful here. They're out of bounds, but oh, brother.
That time, Ed Gross was able to hit the move without locking the hands. Didn't cost him a point, but it didn't get him the takedown either.
Yeah, penalty point with 16 seconds left. Tied it up. Gross had the lead. But now it's 6-6, sudden death overtime. First one to score wins the match. Goes to Atlantic City in the winner's bracket.
In trouble.
Gross put the figure 4 on the head at least. He didn't give up the point. He was able to at least figure 4 the head. You know, Ed Gross has given up 2 penalty points this match that brought him into overtime.
Yes.
You better get in the center here, Nick.
6-6 overtime, 119, 58 seconds.
A reversal in the second period, a takedown in the third, and a penalty point in each of the other 2 periods.
Look at that shot by Castellini. That was a very good double leg.
6 points. Oh, brother, how's he get out of this? How does he get out of this?
Ed Gross.
Oh, brother.
You talk about fortitude.
Oh,
Ed Gross was on the verge of being taken down. He gut wrenches Castellini over to get over and start over.
Looked like a freestyle match. Castellini just keeps getting in deep.
This is not going to work for Ed Gross this time. That's the match. There's the takedown. And the upset here in the quarterfinals at 119 pounds. Paul Castellini of Buna upsets Ed Gross of Delsey by the score of 8-6 in overtime.
Oh, brother.
I tell you, he earned that. He worked very hard. He deserves that win.
Yes, he was. And a little bit upset that he lost, too. Castellini, a sophomore.
Let's take a quick break and come back to Cherry Hill East right after this. And we're on mat number 1, where Woodbury's Jim Monahan going up against John Bear. John Bear of Burlington City. He's a junior. He's 23-2, and of course Jim Monahan of Woodbury, a senior, and he's 28-1.
Yeah, John Bear's the Region 7 champ, Nick, and Jim Monahan just scored a takedown. It looked like Bear's coming out.
Monahan advanced to this round by pinning Cherokee's Dave Salkin in 2 minutes and 41 seconds.
Yeah, Monahan's a really strong kid, Nick. He's up against John Bear. John Bear has 2 losses this year at 125. One is to Diorio from Burlington City. I know that. And the other one is to Justin Hagan at 5'4" from Morristown.
39 seconds remaining in the first period.
Still 2-1, Nick. 30 seconds to go in this period.
Green ankle band for Woodbury gives him the home score.
2-1 Monahan, Nick.
25 seconds remaining in the first period. There's a shot by Bear trying for a back heel trip. He has Monahan a little bit of trouble here. Bear gets the takedown. 16 seconds remaining in the first period.
There's a big takedown late in the period. Monahan now down by a point. 14 seconds, needs to get 1, Nick. It's a tough guy to hold down.
Yeah, Jim Monahan's only loss, of course, is in the Region 8 final against
Anthony Marcel.
Anthony Marcel of Washington Township by the score of 13-8.
Monahan had a big lead in that match, Nick, and Marcella came back and did a great job winning the Region 8 title.
Well, I thought everyone from Washington Township wrestled 6 minutes. I think they did a very good job in Region 8. I mean, they've wrestled the whole time.
Yeah, nice tournament, Nick. I think that Corey Marcella, who lost earlier tonight, had a nice tournament. Mike Sandelier, who's got a big lead down on mat number 2, 7-1, has been very impressive all the way through this year, undefeated. And Jim Monahan's had a nice year too.
Head coach Bill Lucas of Woodbury telling his wrestler take bottom. You saw the signal there because that was the end of the first period, and John Bear of Burlington City takes a 3-2 lead over Woodbury's Jim Monahan.
Here's a situation where Monahan needs to score because it's going to be Bear's choice in the third period. And he didn't have a whole lot of success holding on to Bear when he did take him down.
Anthony Marcel of Washington Township had a bye his first round, and he's currently wrestling on mat number 2.
Bear got a little sloppy there, and in that case, Monahan got his hips up. Bear's hips were down, and Monahan did a hip heist, getting the reversal. 4-3 lead for Monahan, Nick.
Let me just correct that over there. That's Sandelier of Washington Township on mat 2.
And he's leading very handily, Nick, over Shannon Sofield of Eastern by a score of 9-1. 10 seconds left in the second period.
And Monahan leading 4-3 in this bout with a minute to go. Mike Robustello, the former 112-pounder, and I say former 112-pounder of Paulsboro.
He looked like about a 140 to me.
I don't know if he's that heavy, Nick, but he's up there. Brought us some sodas. And we really appreciate that because it's about 120 degrees in this gymnasium.
Yeah, I haven't sweated like this since my days at Paulsboro High School wrestling, and I swore I would never do that again. 103 remaining in the second
like you
period.
have it, Nick.
1. Thank you, Steve. Monahan of Woodbury on top, leading the match, 4-3.
Yeah, one of the amazing things, Nick, is a lot of neophyte fans to wrestling. I mean, neophyte last 5 or 6 years. Here you see Monahan getting the near fall points against Bear. I believe he got a count. No, he didn't. It looked like Dave Smith was counting, but waves it off.
Yeah, Steve, I was given that impression also, the way he was moving his hand on the mat, but no back points.
Right. Well, I was mentioning the neophyte fans of wrestling. A lot of times they'll come up to me and say, that guy Burzichelli on Channel 5, did he ever wrestle? And I said, yeah, it's amazing. Yeah, he did. And he was third in the state of New Jersey in 1980. Had a heck of a career, 79 wins at Paulsboro.
You know, if I knew this abuse was going to happen, I'd have turned your mic off.
Well, I think they look at you and you look like maybe you played a little golf or...
John, would you take care of this man over here? 19 seconds remaining on mat number 1. Jim Monahan Woodbury leading 4-3.
Nick never really did wrestle. He was the cricket champion in 7th grade.
Well, I got to tell you, quite honestly, if I would do it over again, I would do cricket. This wrestling is too tough of a sport. 12 seconds remaining in the second period. Monahan Woodbury leading by the score of 4-3.
What abuse of the former mayor's son.
You know, that was an unsolicited attack. Unsolicited attack. Well, that's the end of the second period, and Jim Monahan of Woodbury takes a 4-3 lead going into the third period over John Bear of Burlington City.
Bear's choice, Nick, and I'm sure he's going to choose the bottom, and the pressure's back on Monahan to hold him. Although he did a pretty good job for that last minute, almost getting back points a couple times. Big minute to go. A big 2 minutes to go, excuse me. 2 minutes left in the match for the state quarterfinals.
And Monahan's going to have to be on the top, working for the pin. Doesn't want to be called for stalling or just ride John Bear out. And that quickly, with just 7 ticks of the clock, John Bear gets the escape and ties the match up 4-4.
4-4 bout. He's got a front headlock on Monahan. There's a lot of pressure there, Nick. Monahan needs to get to his feet. He needs to feel that hand and get to his feet.
The winner with a 15-7 decision, Mike Sandelier of Washington Township.
1:30 remaining in this third period at 130 pounds. We're tied 4-4.
Referee David Smith called a stalemate there. And now we're in a one takedown situation almost with a minute and a half to go. Monahan in on a single, Nick. Bear doing a good job countering. going for a spladle. If Monahan can pop his head, he's going to get 2 here. And a stalemate call, and I think that's a good call by Smith.
1:12 remaining in the third period. 130 pounds. Good shot by Monahan. He's got Bear in a little bit of trouble, but Bear able to keep the Wizard in.
Good hips there by Bear, and Monahan's got to watch it if he tries and steps over this Wizard, because if he does, he could be in trouble. Bear really had his shoulder down.
And there's a stalemate called, so 51 seconds remaining. It's tied 4-4.
No warnings in this match, Nick.
There's the shot by Bear. He's in deep in on a single.
Good quarter Nelson there by Jim Monahan to stop that shot. It doesn't look like Bear's going to be able to penetrate through it, although he's fighting up. He's coming out the back door. Monahan doing a good job countering. He needs to get a leg in here.
25 seconds remaining in the third period, and stalemate called. We'll start over on our feet. It's tie 4-4, 130 pounds.
You know, I look over there at Rip Jamison, Woodbury assistant coach, and he's yelling at Jim Monahan to get the takedown. And I mean, if I was Jim Monahan, I'd be saying, you know, what do you think I'm trying to do here? I mean, this is the second round of the state tournament. I know what I'm supposed to do in a 4-4 match. 25 seconds to go.
So we have an injury timeout here, and I know John's watching mat number 2, where I believe this time it is Anthony Marcel of Washington Township.
Certainly right, Nick. He followed up his teammate, Sandelier. Decision Sofield, 15-7, and now Marcel is on the mat, and he is winning 2-0 with an early takedown against George Florence of Absegami. Florence 27-4. He won earlier this evening with a fall over Justin Hagan of Morristown in 32 seconds. Marcel is 27-0. Florence finished 3rd in the Region 8 tournament. Lost to Sulkin of Cherokee during the year, twice to Monahan of Woodbury, and to Marcel in that Region 8 tournament, 6-3.
So again, another matchup of Region 8 wrestlers over on mat number 2, and we're back at mat number 1, where 15 seconds remaining in this match, and we're still tied 4-4.
Monahan in trouble.
Behind. And there's the takedown with 4 seconds remaining in this match. A takedown on the line by John Bear of Burlington City. He now leads 6-2. And there are 2 seconds on the clock now.
6-4, Nick.
6-4, I'm sorry, 6-4. I'm looking over there with 2 seconds on the clock. I feel like an air traffic controller up here. I'm watching mat number 2. I'm standing up. I got mat 1 over here. And that's the end of the match.
6-5, Nick. 6-5 for John Bear. John Bear from Burlington City advances by 6-5 over Jim Monahan of Woodbury.
I'd like to take a time to announce that we have another sponsor, or a continuing sponsor for this telecast. South Jersey Wrestling Hall of Fame last November inducted 6 men. One of those men was Miller Preston, who we'll see on the sidelines very shortly tonight. Miller took over the head coaching job at Haddon Township High School in 1964. Been the coach the last 27 years and had a record of 336, 106, and 7, second on the all-time win list in South Jersey, behind Hall of Famer Ralph Ross of Highland entering this season. His team twice won the Colonial Conference. Fact is, they were the last team to win the title other than Paulsboro. They won it in 70-71. They've won 8 Christmas tournaments. They've won 10 district titles and twice have won South Jersey Group Championships. Miller coached 1 state, 13 regional, 15 district champions going into this year. He and his wife, Lynn, live in Haddonfield and have 4 children, Jennifer, Michael, David, and Richard. Hall of Famer, Miller Preston at Township High School. We're looking down at mat number 2.
Mat number 2.
And we still have a 2-0 score. That's Anthony Marcello on top, George Florence of Absegami on the bottom. Florence is getting warned for stalling, I
think he may be injured, John. I think they've stopped the match because Marcel looked like he was working the forearm series really tough. Tennant jumps in, stops the match because it looks like Florence was injured.
Very, very physical, Anthony Marcello.
You know, speaking of Washington Township, you were talking earlier about a match we didn't see, and that was Mike Sandelier of Washington Township, and boy, has he been impressive so far.
He certainly has for a junior in high school. He just completely mugged Shannon Sofield who only had 3 losses walking in, but of course Sandelier undefeated. So, but he did a number on him, 15-7, and 4 of the points were given up late in the match when Sofield got a Peterson roll and got 2 points for reversal, 2 points, 2 back points. That closed the gap, but it still was 15-7 when the match ended.
That's right, John, and he could be on a collision course with the number 1 seed, state runner-up Mark Lombardi of Millburn, who's 28-1 coming into this round of wrestling, which will be tomorrow night at Union High School for that preliminary, Super Region Wrestling, Regions 3 and 4.
We're back to action on mat 2. Marcel of Washington Township on top.
Well, and he picked up another point, Nick, and I have to think that was for a stalling, because I saw before Tennis broke it because of the potentially dangerous or the injury time. Now I see 1 point being given for an illegal hold, so it's 3-1.
I think what he was doing was he was working a Sullivan ride, which is around the waist and across, and that has to be above the elbow.
Right.
And the referee saw it on the elbow, and you don't see that called very often.
No.
Well, when you got somebody as crafty as John Tedis, has been around for eons, he'll catch every little move.
He's seen them all.
Yep.
30 seconds remaining in the second period, 130 pounds. Second round of the NJSI AA Wrestling Championship, Cherry Hill East High School. Packed crowd, 2,500. The 50-50 was worth $650. And of course, we didn't win any of that.
No, but you know, we heard a name there. Should we mention it over the air?
Yeah, I think Tom Storer of Hyden won that. Of course, he probably wasn't going to tell his wife. Now his wife is going to be watching this, and we just let the cat out of the bag. And that's the end of the second period over on mat 2, and Anthony Marcel taking a 5-1 lead going into the third period.
Right, got a late near fall, Nick, and he's chosen the neutral position for this last period. Gene Barber questioning where did the other 2 points come from there, Mr. Tedis? Well, there were back points, Gene. While you were napping in a corner, I gave 2 points for a near fall. Now I'm going to give 2 points for a takedown here very shortly.
I think it's going to be called an illegal hold there.
Yes.
And 1 point's probably going to be given to Marcelo. That's the same thing that Gross really did. We saw it 119 pounds where he locked the hands on the spinal column. You have to get either one side or the other.
Yes.
That locked hands has to go on one side or the other. Can't be on parallel.
Right. You see Gene Barber looking out there, and you also see Derillo and Tedis, the 2 officials on the mat, discussing it. I thought maybe it was going to be overturned, but Derillo was showing Barber in the corner what you were explaining, Nick, about the locked hands on that spine. Oh my! Oh! Florence rolled out of it.
I'm not sure that was an illegal hold.
Yeah, they must. It's 6-1. They put the point up, but you know, again, a judgment call and the points awarded. You know, I'm just standing up here and remembering the days when I wrestled. And Steve, you can appreciate this. How important it is when you have 2 mats going. You wrestle until the ref stops you from wrestling, because you hear whistles on both sides going. You know, you can inadvertently just get up and stop wrestling, and it may not be your whistle.
Yeah, it's really important, and I think you see less and less because the kids today have wrestled so many tournaments in the spring and in summer AAUs. A lot of these kids since they're 5 years old, and most of them do keep going. I can remember a lot of times in the 70s and in the 80s that happening when guys would stop wrestling, and when they did, that's a bad situation. But you don't see it very often. But I'm still confused by that illegal hold call. I don't know why that was illegal hold. Maybe John Tedis can explain it to me after the round.
Well, I'll tell you what. We'll take you over to Mr. Derillo afterwards. He agreed with Mr. Tedis, so the two of them put their good minds together with all that experience. It must have been what they saw. That stalemate called there.
55 seconds. 55 seconds remaining in the third period. 6-1. Anthony Marcel of Washington Township leading over George Florence of Absegami.
Sandelier and Marcel follow each other in the lineup, Nick, and obviously good workout habits all during the year, and that's why the two of them are sailing along undefeated. They must knock the stuffings out of each other in the practice room.
35 seconds remaining. Florence trying to spin behind.
Oh my, yes.
Getting the takedown.
cuts the score right in half, Nick, to 6-3, 25 seconds left.
6'3", 130 pounds. Marcel, Washington Township on the bottom. Florence of Apsagami electing to the freestyle.
Yeah, it's that optional start, but you notice he didn't release Marcelo to give him an escape. He just...
he wanted to go around front, look for the big move, the big drop where the headlock.
Right, just dropped right in on it.
10 seconds remaining in this match. 5 seconds. 1 second, and that'll be it. Anthony Marcella of Washington Township will advance by the score of 7-3 over George Florence of Apsagami.
Good smart match there by the Washington Township senior.
Let's take a break and come back to more wrestling right after this.
The Internal Revenue Service offers free forms, publications, assistance, workshops, and a toll-free hotline.
140 pounds, and it's Mike Belinsky of Delsey, a junior, 24-8, going up against Sam Haynes of Lenape, a senior, 20-6. 1 minute, 28 seconds remaining in this first period, and we're scoreless.
Scoreless, Nick, and I think this match is a real surprise, both wrestlers being here. I think Mike Belinsky finished third in District 31, and then got to the region finals where he lost to Craig Randolph of Paulsboro. And Sam Haynes was a big surprise, winning the Region 7 title. So here's a match that both wrestlers, a little bit surprising. Haynes has 6 losses. Belinsky has some losses. And I really am surprised that they're here. One of them is going to be in the state quarters on Friday night. Belinsky has 8 losses. Haynes in on a shot. Belinsky's trying for a spladle. Belinsky's really good with the spladle, but Haynes sort of knew it was coming and moved out to the side. Stalemate called by the referee, Barry Jackson.
Two mats going here tonight. We're on mat number 1, and it's Steve Anuszewski, and on mat number 2 is John Vogeding, and we're on mat number 1. 30 seconds remaining in the first period. Scoreless.
I've never seen Haynes wrestle before, Nick, but I realize that Mike Belinsky's probably weakest area is takedowns. He's pretty good on the mat. He does a good job holding his own on his feet. That's why he's in the state pre-quarter finals. Not to take anything away from the young man, but this is probably his weakest area. He does a good job holding his own here, and he's real tough on the mat.
5 seconds. And we'll end the first period scoreless at 140 pounds.
It's Haynes' choice.
Yep, Haynes of Lenape will defer to Mike Belinsky, and Belinsky's going to choose the bottom.
Again, look for Haynes to be throwing the legs, and I remember seeing Haynes a little bit in the Paulsboro Lenape scrimmage where he had a tussle with Craig Randolph, who's also still alive in this tournament. He'll be wrestling in a few minutes. Haynes doing a good job tying up Belinsky's hips.
You know, if I can just interject a second, we don't see it, but down the other end, Millville's Mike Saul is wrestling against Carl Haywood of Shalley. Saul just got another takedown to take a 10-4 lead, but I notice in the corner we have Will Goodwin and Dave Heck again. If you remember from the Region 8 tournament, Joe Monteleone, the coach of Millville, was ejected, and since that was an extension of the state tournament, he cannot attend this session or cannot go down to Atlantic City.
Is he in a truck tonight by any chance?
I don't know.
So he's not in a truck, so he's not going to be able to watch this round.
Well, you don't know. He could be up in a corner somewhere with a nose and glasses on, and not to be confused with any other coach, but
like Woody Allen?
yeah, it could be. But there's a situation where my fraternity brother, Joe Monteleone, Western Maryland graduate, 6 years, that's Haywood and Saul down on mat number 2. There's no score on mat number 1, still 0-0 in the second period.
42 seconds remaining in this match, John.
Right, and Carl Haywood, an interesting young sophomore. He had some great wild matches down in Region 8. He's a sophomore, he'll be back, and of course Mike Saul, the senior, 75 wins in his career coming into this match, 14 losses, and having a great year. He's undefeated.
Yeah, this is another Region 8 matchup again.
Yes.
It seems like Region 8 not only having a difficult time, but eliminating each other as they go along.
They have had some eliminations.
13 seconds remaining.
Saul very methodical, 10 seconds away from winning that match.
So Mike Saul of Millville leading with 5 points. 4 seconds remaining in the match. Haywood trying for the big headlock, unable to come through with it. Mike Saul of Millville will advance with a score of 10-5 over Carl Haywood of Shallock.
Mike Saul of Millville over Carl Haywood of Shallock. Up on mat number 2.
That was at 135.
Jason Baker, Pennsville, Craig.
We're back now, Steve, on mat number 1. 44 seconds remaining in the second period, and we're still scoreless.
Still scoreless, but Haynes has Belinsky in a cradle, getting back points.
35 seconds remaining in the second period.
Big back points.
Yep, and Sam Haynes able to get 3 points near fall with 30 seconds remaining in the second period. Just taking a look over on mat number 2, looks like another Region 8 matchup with Jason Baker of Pennsville going up against Paulsboro's Craig Randolph.
And that was a wild, wild one, Nick, in Region 7 in the semifinals. That's where Craig Randolph beat Baker 14-12. Baker coming into this match this evening. He won earlier this evening.
They're scoreless on mat 2. Steve back on mat number 1, 21 seconds remaining in the third period, and it's Sam Haynes with that 3-point near fall.
The Region 7 champion with a big cradle with 30 seconds to go in the second period leads Mike Belinsky 3-0.
6 for Steve S. Station wagon.
Oh, brother.
Yeah, I can't help but look down on the other mat where Craig Randolph has Jason Baker in a whole bunch of trouble, but back on this mat, it's 3-0 for Mike Belinsky.
Okay, here we are on mat 2, John, and Craig Randolph on Baker in a little bit of trouble.
Nick, and he right from the takedown, he put Baker on his back.
And he's got Baker in big trouble. He's got a power half in. Baker's
Oh,
going
my.
to step over this.
Oh, brother, he just can't put it down.
Good job by Baker getting out of that pinning combination. Big 5-point move for Craig Randolph of Paulsboro, and Baker gets the reversal.
5-2 the score, Nick. Baker walking into that bout with 25 wins and 3 losses. As I mentioned, one of them 14-12 in the Region 8 semifinals. Craig Randolph walks in 27-5.
Look to see Baker work the cross body ride in those power halves. If I recall in the semifinals, he really was trying to crank over Craig Randolph, and Craig had to take some injury time out on that. And we're looking at Randolph now trying to get the reversal here.
Well, and he's got it,
And there's the 2 points reversal. He now leads 7-2, 32 seconds remaining in the first period. 140-pound weight class.
Yeah, we saw a lot of ice applied to Craig Randolph that afternoon.
Well, Baker has such great leverage when he's on top working that cross body ride.
Randolph seems like a very, very determined wrestler this year, Nick. You know, a lot of publicity with Ernie Maiden, a lot of publicity with Matt Suter. And yet Craig Randolph very, very quietly has been doing a yeomanship job this year.
Randolph trying a near side cradle, unable to convert it. 1 second left. And there's not going to be, 2-point near fall is going to be awarded for Randolph of Paulsboro. He gets a 2-point near fall. 9-2 going into the second period. I think the refs are now wondering whether or not there's going to be an escape on that. And there's the escape. Yep, 1 point's going to be given to Baker of Pennsville for the escape.
That makes it 9-3 after 1.
Steve, we're back on mat number 1, 1 minute 5 seconds remaining. It's 3-1, Sam Haynes.
No, it's 3-3, Nick, because Mike Belinsky just tied Sam Haynes up in a spladle situation, picked up the 2 near fall, 3-3 with a minute to go. Great match down here on mat number 1.
All tied up, and you had called it before, Mike Belinsky, liking that spladle.
Greg Randolph's doing a good job, but boy, Jason Baker's a dangerous wrestler on mat number 2. I just want to say that. Back on mat number 1, Belinsky doing a good job here on top, but he needs to hold
50 seconds remaining in
Sam
the third
Haynes.
period. It's tied 3-3. Mike Belinsky of Delsey and Sam Haynes of Lenape. Belinsky on top, getting a little high, and there's the escape by Haynes of Lenape. Takes a 4-3 lead with 34 seconds remaining. And we're called out of bounds. 32 seconds remaining. Mat number 1. Now we're on mat number 2, where Craig Randolph has Baker in a little bit of trouble.
Yeah, just got a reversal. You know, he was in trouble. He was, it was 9-6, and then he reversed, and now we're going to have an escape. What a wild, wild match. Just like at 14-12, we're 11-7 right now. A minute and 2 left in the second period.
And we're back on mat number 1 with just 15 seconds remaining. We're tied.
Mike
Excuse me, it's
Belinsky needs a
4-3.
takedown.
Sam Haynes leading this match. 4-3. 11 seconds remaining here.
Belinsky needing a takedown.
Belinsky taking the shot. 8 seconds.
Dump
7
situation
seconds.
there.
He's in a dump. 4 seconds. Takedown. 4 seconds remaining on the clock. Mike Belinsky of Delsey will win this match by the score of 5-4 over Lenape's Sam Haynes.
What a Cinderella story, Nick. Here's a kid, 3rd in District 31, has advanced to the state quarterfinals. Mike Belinsky of Delsey, 8 losses, he's in the state quarterfinals.
And we're back now at mat number 2 after that exciting match. And we're right into another Donnybrook. 30 seconds remaining in the second period. Randolph leading 11-7.
Right, right. The last flurry we saw Randolph get the reversal, and then almost immediately Jason Baker got the escape. Take this time and say that Baker has only 3 losses this year, Nick. 3 losses coming to Everwine of Kingsway 10-8, Kurt Fraser of Delaware Valley 6-4, and Randolph 14-12. You just saw a stalling warning given to the Paulsboro wrestler.
So we're into the third period. Randolph of Paulsboro leading 11-7 over Pennsville's Jason Baker. Again, this is the rematch of the semifinals of Region 8, where Randolph was victorious.
Randolph into this match with 5 losses. He lost to Eric Peel of Blair, a 7-9-7 in overtime back in the Colwell tournament. Lost to Robert Legge of Bayside, Virginia, down in the Deep Creek tournament. He lost to Derek Maiden, 13-6 in that infamous, dual meet this year, where Delsey and Paulsboro's only loss. He lost to Jim Ballbreaker of Audubon by a fall, and he lost to Frank Passy of Manville, 11-10 in the state group meet. He starts the third period on the bottom.
Randolph working the Granby roll into a Peterson. Baker still in control. And again, there's that leverage we were talking about. He likes to work the cross-body ride.
Almost got a count in there, Nick. Got a 1 count. Randolph, a lot of savvy, lifting that leg, putting the pressure on, missed the head. Got to keep moving here, Nick.
Baker's a really dangerous wrestler.
1:33 remaining in the third period.
There's those
you can
legs
see,
in the game.
yeah, and this takes a big toll out on the bottom wrestler, because you start extending the shoulder, takes a lot of pressure on the head and shoulder area. And Randolph took a lot of this in the semifinals, and he seems to trying to do a good job here, trying to flatten out and pull the half Nelson off.
Yeah, plus you remember in the regional tournament, there were a lot of times when Baker had that move in, and the move was stopped for potentially dangerous. Here, you got a different official on the mat, and it may not be stopped.
1:10 remaining in the third period. It's still 11-7. Craig Randolph of Paulsboro leading, and he's on the bottom. Randolph trying to hip heist out, trying to get the reversal.
There it is. He gets that cradle near side. Well, missed it.
No, he's working the near side cradle. He does get the reversal.
They haven't put any points up on the board yet.
And Baker will get the 1. And they are putting the 2 points reversal on the board, so it's now 13-8.
And just
Craig Randolph.
just gave Pennsville an escape, and he kind of let. I think that Baker's probably getting a little frustrated with Randolph. Met him on Saturday in the semifinals and lost 14-12. He scored 8 points tonight, and he's still losing.
49 seconds remaining in this period. Randolph leading 13-8.
Well, he's got to keep motion going, keep movement going.
Randolph already called for stalling in this match.
He was warned for stalling in the second period, so he has to be the aggressor.
Randolph in on a double. No points yet.
If he clears that leg, if he clears that right leg, he'll have 2.
24 seconds remaining in the third period. No takedown yet.
Well, Randolph doing his great imitation of a bent pretzel again.
14 seconds remaining in the match. Randolph leading 13-8. You can see assistant coach Dean Duke telling him to stay tough in there.
I'd be on my bicycle.
Well, I counter here. He can't get that many stalling points.
5 seconds remaining in the match. Greg Randolph of Paulsboro will win this match by a score of 13-8 over Pennsville's Jason Baker.
Well,
just some frustration going on right now.
A lot of frustration, and they've just met each other on Saturday afternoon.
But either way, Greg Randolph will go to the winner's bracket, and Jason Baker of Pennsville will go to the loser's bracket.
Good match there by Randolph. I think he did a good job using his hips. Randolph has really good hips. Yeah, on this match, it looked on mat number 1, Nick, it looks like there's an injury.
So there was an injury on mat number 1 with that. Let's take a quick break from Cherry Hill East.
I see her! This is not a drill. This is what we do every day in the Coast Guard. Be part of the action. Call now.
Coming up.
145 pounds. We're going to be on mat number 2. But right now, there's Kevin Farnham of Haddon Township. He's on mat number 1. And there we are on mat number 2, where we'll see Collingswood's Rick Koss. He is a senior. He's 27-2, going up against Highland's undefeated Jim Dively. He is a senior, and he's 31-0.
And boy, oh boy, I'll tell you what a matchup here, Nick.
This could be one of the matchups of the evening.
Yeah, Rick Koss advanced with a 12-4 decision over Daniel Loader of Cumberland. The only 2 losses he has this year are both to the same wrestler. He lost to Kevin Farnham of Haddon Township 6-3 in the District 28 finals, and he lost to Kevin Farnham 6-5 in the Region 7 finals, and many, many people who were there tell me that wasn't the real score. Everybody seems to think that Koss had a takedown right near the end, as you see Dively go in hard, get the 2 points. Nope, no 2 points given. There's 2 points.
Dively now has full control. He gets a takedown, 53 seconds remaining in the first period.
Jim Dively, of course, a great career at Highland, Nick. 104 wins, 12 losses, and 3 ties coming in this match. District champion in 90, 91, 92, and 93. Second in the regionals last year at 140 pounds. Coached by Hall of Famer Ralph Ross, of course.
And there's the escape by Koss. 25 seconds remaining. 21 seconds remaining in this 145-pound first period. 2-1, Jim Dively of Highland leading.
You know, they just announced, Nick, down on mat number 1, Kevin Farnham, the number 1 seed in the state at 145, just won by injury default to advance to the quarterfinals.
You know, it was tough to tell that was Walt Holland, Nick, because isn't that the second different uniform he's had on tonight?
Yeah, I didn't take a look, but he started tonight's match, the first round, with a Pemberton uniform.
Right, and this is a Delran uniform. He must have had his uniform stolen or didn't bring it. As we see down the other end, 4-1 had
Jim Dively of
Highland is leading. He's got 2 takedowns against an escape in that first period, so Highland leading 4-1. Koss starting the second period down.
Koss, a familiar name to wrestling.
Yeah, his brother John put on one of the most courageous performances I ever saw last year in the state championships. He really had a banged up knee and went out there virtually on one leg and won his second straight title in a row. And he's down in West Virginia this year where he redshirted, so we'll probably see him in action next year. In the college ranks, of course. I will see 9 South Jersey wrestlers out in Iowa next week, Nick.
You're going to Iowa, and I'm going back to Atlantic City. There's no justice in this world here.
See an escape.
If you ask most people, where would you rather be?
Yep, Scott. Koss gets the escape. It's 4-2 now, Dively, and it's a minute 30 seconds remaining in the second period.
But if you ask most people where they'd rather be, Nick, Iowa or Atlantic City, I think most people would say Atlantic City.
Yeah,
but I mean, the quality of wrestling out there is really going to be super, John.
If they say Atlantic City, that's because they're fools or not good wrestling fans.
Well, I've seen some good wrestling in Atlantic City.
Yes. I've seen a lot of fools
not on the
in
mat,
Atlantic
though.
City. A lot of fools in Atlantic City.
Well,
not on the mat.
There are no fools. Oh, look at that throw. Attempted throw. Look at the legs come across. Oh, brother. No points yet.
Good bit of heads-up wrestling there on both sides. You saw Dively going for the big throw. Koss didn't panic.
Not at all.
Didn't panic, stepped over, and here we are in a standing position.
Yep.
It's like Dively's a little hurt.
He's got the leg brace on the right leg, but you know, at this time of the year, these aggressive wrestlers, especially the ones that are undefeated like Dively, 31-0, they're going to have chinks in the armor.
I just think he hit a little hard when they went out of bounds.
Oh my.
John, seems like both of these wrestlers not afraid to go upper body.
No.
Not too many shots going on right now. A lot of upper body, reminds you a little bit of freestyle Greco-Roman wrestling.
John Tennis, the official there. I hope he doesn't get in the middle of one of those throws.
30 seconds remaining in the second period. And there's the first shot. And it's a good shot by Rick Koss of Collingswood.
Takedown.
He gets the takedown, and he's trying to put Dively on his back, trying to make him think about his back. Dively reaching in, turning in, grabbing a hold of the leg. 10 seconds remaining in the second period. It's tied 4-4. And Rick Koss able to gain total control now with 5 seconds remaining in the second period.
Oh, brother, Nick.
It's the matchup we thought that was going to happen. It's the match we're getting.
Absolutely. That's Ron Avery, the assistant coach of the... No, who's that? I'm sorry.
He's on the Collingswood bench.
Yeah. There's Ron Hamrick, the head coach in a blue sweatshirt. And I see behind with the blue sweatshirt, that's John Koss from last year.
And there's an injury timeout being called by Dively. I think Stan had called it earlier. He thought Dively may have been favoring that right leg, and you saw the big knee brace on him, and that's where they're going to check on right now.
$180.
I've been calling Steve Stan.
I knew you meant.
Because Stan was in the truck.
Well, yeah.
I like Stan better, because Steve, the first thing he does, he starts picking on me.
Yeah,
so I'm going to call him Stan the whole night then.
I knew exactly what you meant.
Well, don't be afraid to nudge me. You did it before.
Steve points out that's Mike Tulane in the corner. I thought maybe it was John Koss, but then I remember that I believe he got ejected in the Region 7 tournament. So maybe he's not allowed in the building. So they brought another big brute in.
John Koss was a real competitor. Here we are
Steve,
on
mat number one.
This is John Jernigan. I'm sorry, this is Jason Brown of Oakcrest at the 152-pound weight class. And he's out there at 152 against Angelo Carter of Pemberton, the Region 7 champion, 26-2 coming into this bout.
And we're now back, John, on mat number two. We just started the third period. It's tied 4-4.
Right, tied 4-4, and Jim Dively's on the bottom. He was attended to during that short break for his knee, and Koss has really put a lot of pressure on him. Got a stalling warning against Highland.
So Dively called for stalling. 145-pound weight class.
Well, let me tell you something, Nick. We saw it down in Region 8, and I'm just kind of amazed at some of the Highland wrestlers. I don't know if they peaked too soon this year or not, because they won their district pretty handily, but they lost their 3-pounder before they even got to the regions, and they've been losing them one by one as we've gone along here, and they just don't look sharp, and didn't look sharp in Region 8, and they don't look sharp here tonight.
Yeah, they've had a difficult state tournament so far.
Yes.
But team-wise, they had an excellent year.
Yes, they did.
1:23 remaining in the third period. We're still tied 4-4. And Rick Koss of Collinswood on top, really all over Dively.
Really putting the pressure on.
You know, you were talking about Highlands here, though. I think if you asked their coaching staff, they say they'd even be disappointed by that. They had a lot of expectations this year, with a lot of letter winners back and a lot of talent back, and they didn't win state group 4. They didn't win the Phillipsburg match. Still had an outstanding season, though.
Oh, I don't think there's any question. And they had a ton of talent coming back, but you know, Jason Player was back, and he ended up moving over to Audubon, and McKeever was in the lineup early in the year, and he ended up not being in the lineup at the end of the year. So I guess it takes its toll, all that pressure in the practice room. And Koss wrestling very determined right now, Nick.
Yeah, he's on top. 1 minute remaining in the third period. Koss on the side, working the power half.
Well, Dively's got to keep making an attempt on the bottom to get out, Nick.
And there it is, quick sit out, turn in.
Nothing yet.
Right arm up. No control.
There's
the escape. So Dively gets the escape with 40 seconds remaining in the third period.
You gotta go, Jim!
Dively having a difficult time getting in the center of the mat.
And he's been warned once for stalling, so he's leading 5-4, but he gets hit with stalling once again. We'll see a tie match.
Wouldn't be surprised if we see it tonight, because we've seen the refs. They're not afraid to make the controversial calls tonight.
Well,
and we're gonna have an injury timeout because you saw that shot, and Rick Koss gets a shot. And you know, tonight's match is brought to you by Don and Bert's Custard Stand, 635 West Broad Street in Paulsboro. Don and Bert's is now open for the season, so you can stop by and check out their great tasting cheese fries. From cheesesteaks to cheese fries, make Don and Bert's Custard Stand your choice. Don and Bert's Custard Stand on Broad Street in Paulsboro. Hey, you know what's interesting is there's no doubt that a couple of these wrestlers in tonight's first round, when they lose, they're going to some place to eat, because they don't have to wrestle anymore.
Well, the first rounders say the ones in this round can't.
23 seconds remaining, John. Dively leading 5-4.
Now I think a good call. No takedown points given there, and that's because Dively's hips came down the line. There's Michael Lamb, a former wrestler at Highland, and
12 seconds. Dively of Hyden leading, and here goes a half Nelson. Nothing yet. No points. 3 seconds. 2. That's the match. Highlands. Jim Dively wins 5-4 over Collingswood's Rick Cosson. An outstanding match. You can see some great sportsmanship going on right there. Dively of Highland will get his hand raised with a 5-4 win over Collingswood's Rick Cosson.
I think they're two of the best 145-pounders in the state of New Jersey. And Koss still has a chance to come back in the wrestlebacks, so don't count him out yet either.
Well, so we're now, it looks like, on mat 2, Matt Suter of Paulsboro at 152 pounds. He's going to be going up against a not unfamiliar wrestler to him, John Jernigan of Williamstown. Jernigan 26-2, and John, I believe these two wrestlers met earlier in the year.
well, you know, Matt Suter's had a great career. Maybe John Jernigan deserves a better fate, Nick. He has a grand total of 2 losses going into this match. One of them was to Suter in that first period fall in a dual meet. The other one was to Jason Brown of Oakcrest. Earlier this evening, Jernigan won by decision over Mark Barazik of Shawnee, 12-7. But I sure wouldn't want to be in his spot right now, although that's the challenge.
Well, Suter coming in with 32-0 record for the year, but of course he's going for his 134th career win tonight.
Well, he has 134. He's 134, 7-1.
Right.
He's going for 135.
Got 34 in the Region 8 finals.
Yeah, we had a pretty neat story in the Courier Post today, and one of the things that was accompanied the story was a chart that showed his 6 losses his freshman year, and his only other loss since was in last year's state finals to Kip Covington of Overbrook. He's just been such a determined and focused wrestler. You know, he's got the countdown going. If he wins this one, he's got 3 more to go to be a state champion. You see a stalling warning on Jernigan. And boy, I know he can taste that. He wants it bad.
Suter in deep in on a single. No takedown yet. He's trying to move Jernigan in, and there's the takedown.
You know, and you know, if it looks rough, this game isn't for pansies.
Well, there's no doubt Suter's on a mission, and he's been very physical. I think we've seen the physicalness start coming out in Suter, probably in the state group championship is when he really started turning it on.
You know what? I think we saw it kind of like during the middle of the season, after the loss to Delsey, in which he did his job at night, getting maximum points. But I think since then it's been more a determined drive to win the Colonial. Look at that throw.
Yeah, he does a nice lateral drop here. He's got Jernigan in trouble. He's got him pretty tight. 50 seconds. That's it.
Oh, there it is.
1 minute, 12-second pin for Paulsboro's Matt Suter. He pinned John Jernigan in 1 minute, 12 seconds. And of course, Matt Suter will advance. And we're going to take a quick break from Cherry Hill, then come back right after this. And we're back. We're at 160 pounds. We're in the third period. It's Chris Gromolowicz of Shawnee, a senior, 21-2, going up against Brian Lewis of Highland, a sophomore. He's 31-1, and Lewis, I believe, John, leading 5-3.
He is leading 5-3, and Gromolowicz is going to give him the intentional escape, so he's now leading 6-3. Lewis, of course, first in Region 8 last year after Joe Bucco could not continue and defaulted, and was second the year before to Matt Suter, losing 10-9 in a wild match. Lewis was upset, or well, I call it an upset, so to speak. Justin Bird beat Lewis in the Region 8 finals. Of course, Justin Bird, a great wrestler last year. He's 32-0, and he handed Brian Lewis a 10-6 loss.
And that's Lewis's only loss this year.
Yes, earlier this evening, Lewis pinned Kevin Fine of Haddon Heights in 1 minute and 27 seconds.
Gromolowicz getting the takedown.
Gets taken down.
6-5.
Right. Well, you know, as I mentioned when Jim Dively was wrestling, Highland wrestlers just haven't looked real sharp to me.
And remember, Lewis elected to let Gromolowicz up on this freestyle start, and it backfires. It's a 3-point move.
Gromolowicz, a senior, as you mentioned, Nick, his only 2 losses this year. Mike Berry of Pennsgrove, 11-10, and Carl Eberly of Lenape, 7-3.
Over Carl Eberly of Lenape. Technical fall in 4:15.
125 remaining, third period, 160 pounds in.
Let's see go again.
Let Lewis up.
On deck 189, Orlando Holy Cross, Jonathan Sherman, 06.
Takes a lot of courage in the third period, Nick, or a lot of confidence, I should say.
Oh, and there, Lewis shucks him by.
Yeah.
Gets the takedown, and Lewis now increases his lead 9-5.
9-5.
Oh,
Look at this. Oh,
he has Gromolowicz in trouble.
Oh,
He throws the half in.
Oh, brother.
John, I thought momentarily Gromolowicz was pinned. What a nice move by Lewis, and he's really turning it on here. 44 seconds remaining.
3-point near fall, now a 2-point near fall.
And a reversal by Gromolowicz.
Might have turned it on a little bit too much.
34 seconds remaining in the third period. Lewis of Highland leading 14-7. And we'll have an injury timeout here. And getting the wrestle on mat number 1, getting ready, is Ernie Carter of Deptford.
Oh boy.
Ernie Carter, a senior with a record of 24-0, going up against Alex Gracia of Paul VI. He is a senior, and he's 23-8.
That match is up on number 1, Nick, and it's a really interesting match.
Here's the injury timeout right now going on mat number 2.
See Roger Pullen with his back to us, attending to his wrestler, who's losing 14-7. That's Chris Gromolowicz of Shawnee, senior. He's losing right now to Brian Lewis, 14-7, with 30 seconds remaining in the match.
So we'll come back to mat number 1 after the completion of mat number 2, because there's only 30 seconds left, like John said. We'll have Steve standing by, ready to jump right in with the Ernie Carter match.
Just don't think there's enough time left for the Shawnee wrestler to pull this one out, Nick.
You know, Lewis, it was tied at 1.55, and that quickly,
Yes.
it's now 14-7.
Well-
So, you know, wrestling is a sport where you can't let up at all.
That's right, especially when you get to this level. And Brian Lewis has been around for 3 years now. He's carved himself a real nice record, Nick. 90 wins going into tonight. He won once tonight, so he's got 91, 8-1 coming into this bout. And he's going to win this one, so he's going to be 92 wins coming out of this bout tonight.
And he's a junior, so he'll be back next year.
He will return.
And not only will he return, but he will be advancing in the state tournament. He will win this match by the score of 14-7 over Chris Gromovitz of Shawnee. So Brian Lewis of Highland will advance.
Nick, I'd like to tell us about another Hall of Famer. The South Jersey Wrestling Hall of Fame is helping to sponsor this telecast this evening. Paul Moriello of Overbrook High School, a 1960 Edgewood High School graduate, the school's first wrestler to reach a district final when he was second his senior year. Edgewood's first with a varsity program. Also a varsity performer in football and baseball. He went to Temple University. He was a member of that school's wrestling team. Following graduation, became an assistant under Jimmy Ingalls at Edgewood. 2 years later, he was the head coach at Overbrook, and he's been there for the last 26 years. 280 wins, 136 losses, and 5 ties going into this year's action. Fourth in the all-time win list behind Highlands' Ralph Ross, Haddon Township's Miller Preston, and Eastern's John Sanders. His teams won 8 Christmas, 6 District, 5 Olympic Conference Division, and 2 South Jersey Group Championships. He's coached 56 District, 13 Regional, and 3 State Champions into this year, the most famous of which that Damian Covington, who denied Pat Lynch a 3rd straight state title. Moriel still coaches and teaches at Overbrook, lives in Winslow Township with his wife Janet. They have 3 children, daughter Karen, sons David and Michael. An entry into the South Jersey Hall of Fame last November.
And we're back on mat number 1, where you just saw Ernie Carter take a 2-0 lead, and we're going to be starting the second period. Carter leading 2-0.
2-0, Nick, and it appeared right at the end of that period that Ernie Carter had some back points on a cross wrist tilt, but they were not given by referee Dave Smith. I guess he had a 1 count about 3 times. Well, that can happen if a referee breaks the plane, and there's an escape for Alex Gracia, the Paul VI wrestler, and a West Deptford resident. Gracia wrestled at West Deptford as a freshman and wrestled another West Deptford wrestler to get to this round, Vince Layton. He advanced by a 10-8 decision, and here he is against the Deptford wrestler, Ernie Carter. Carter in on a single, nice single leg shot there by Ernie Carter.
Yeah, Carter went in on a single, nice backfield trip, gets the takedown, increases his lead 4-1. 1:44 remaining in the second period.
And this is a rematch of a dual meet early in the season when Ernie Carter beat Alex Gracia 4-2 in overtime. So these wrestlers know each other, not only from where they live, but they have wrestled during the season.
Carter on top, working a cross body ride, and again gets another one of those 1 counts.
Right, he got the Jacobs in with the legs. He had a nice tight Jacobs, but Alex Gracia kicked out of it. There's a situation where Ernie Carter's showing a lot of savvy.
It looks like Carter got 1 point there. Gracia probably grabbing only 1 finger there.
Right, the rule says that you have to take all 4, and Alex Gracia took 1 or 2, and there it is now. That's a penalty point, a technical violation, and it's a 5-1 score.
We're at 171 pounds. Ernie Carter of Deptford leading 5-1.
Stall call on the defensive wrestler, that's on Gracia. Interesting situation here is that Ernie Carter, Nick, was originally seated in the A spot. He was drawn into the A spot in the bracket. However, the bracket was reseeded and he was seated 4th. So he's still in the upper bracket, which means that in order to reach the state final, he would have to beat defending state champion Glenn Pritzlaff from Middletown South. But at least he would not meet him till the semifinals. He was scheduled to meet him Friday night.
So the reed seat at 171 has helped Carter, but you know the first thing he has to do right now is get past Alex Gracia.
Halfway through the bout, Nick, and it's a 5-1 lead for Carter.
Carter getting the 2 count this time. He's got the tight waist near arm tilt.
3 on the back, Nick.
So he gets
8-1 lead for Carter.
Nice job by Carter. He gets a 3-point near fall. 44 seconds remaining in the second period.
You remember that Ernie Carter won a very controversial decision in the Region 8 finals over Greg Rhyme of Delsey, in which the match went into overtime. However, the score that was recorded was different from what's shown on the scoreboard. It was a correctable error. Carter winning the bout in regulation.
Oh yeah, you know, it's a shame because he won that bout outright at 10-8, and unfortunately the scoreboard shows 10-10. Roy Fenimore has no choice. He looks up, he sees the scoreboard. He's got to put both wrestlers on the line to go overtime because of the new rule change. It's immediate, so he couldn't really break and go to the scorebook.
The only thing that I think there is, if there is a question on the score, you have to look at the scorebook. You do it any other time in a match. I don't understand why it should be different at the end of a regulation bout, Nick.
Yeah, well, I think if I can interject,
yeah,
I talked
do.
to Roy Fenimore earlier this evening, and he said the reason it goes right into it is because he assumes they're correct at the table, and you don't want to have one coach yelling over to you, well, he's gassed and he's getting a rest while you're checking on the scoring. If they were accurate right up to there, it's supposed to be immediate into the overtime, 2 minutes without a break, and that's why they've been doing it. Roy Fenimore said after this, they all learned a lesson that night. They're going to make a quick check.
You know, you have 2 officials out there. The amazing thing was, though, that nobody questioned it. No one questioned it. Well, no coach questioned it. Nobody that had the authority to question it questioned the call, and that's amazing. I think another coach pointed it out to the Deptford coaches, and that's where the question came from, John.
Yeah, and I agree with you because I had 10-8 on my score sheet. When they put 10-10 on the board, I just wrote down 10-10 and put a question mark after. I just didn't understand where I lost 2 points. But you're right. If it wasn't for another coach coming up to the Deptford corner, Ernie Carter might not be out there tonight in the position he is. And and you know, the rightful person won the bout.
No doubt about that. And 1:45 remaining in this third period, and Carter of Deptford leading 8-1.
Just to interject, there is a little justice because it seems like Greg Vime's going to advance. He's winning down on the other match.
Yeah, he's winning 9-1 now. He's had a couple near falls in the second period, and he's wrestling Shane Streeter, who started that match with a 23-4 record, having lost to John Dadalow of Holy Spirit, Joe Klein of Easter, and Brian Lewis of Highland, and Ernie Carter of Deptford. Those are his 4 losses. Not a shabby group at all. So and Greg Rhymes' only loss, of course, was to Ernie Carter.
Well, I feel pretty good that both of these guys, both Gloucester County wrestlers, both Region 8 wrestlers, who wrestled so close in that region final, are both going to advance, it looks like, to the quarterfinals. Of course, still a lot of time left, 1:14 in this bout, but Carter just went up 10-1.
And also, he's going to get 1 point here because Gracia was locking hands. Carter was able to complete the move and gets the reversal. So it looks like it may be 11-1, Ernie Carter of Deptford leading.
And that's the second violation against Gracia, Nick. And the next one will be a 2-point violation, whether it be a stalling call or some type of illegal hold. Any violation would be 2 points.
1:10 remaining in the third period. And it really has been Ernie Carter. He has been really controlling this match from the beginning whistle.
Yes, he has, Nick. And it doesn't surprise me that Ernie Carter's had a heck of a career. Had some problems last year. Here he is getting some back points. Nice cross wrist tilt. He's underneath his hips, and he's going to get 3 more. Right back on top. Ernie Carter has great hips, Nick.
Yeah, it's 14-1, and we're 2 points away from a technical fall. He has Carter. Carter has him now. So this will, if he's unable to pin him,
he's going to deck him there.
It'll be a technical fall, but he is really cranking it up now. That's it. Steve, you called it. You said he was getting tight, and he pins Alex Gracia in 5 minutes, 33 seconds. So Ernie Carter really doing a devastating job and advancing with the pin at 5:33.
Greg Rhymes going to advance too, as he's got a big lead down on mat number 2, John.
Yeah, he's been in complete control. It's 9-1 after 2 periods, and we just 14 seconds into the third period as you see an injury timeout. Everybody's got to remember Greg Rhyme broke his nose in the district final, so that's the reason for the mask. It hasn't slowed him down the mat. Just that one painful loss to Ernie Carter in the Region 8 finals.
And he momentarily won it.
Yeah.
Because he did have his hand raised.
That's right. And I'm sure that's heartbreaking and frustrating and everything else you want to say. But again, we have to emphasize that in fairness, a clerical error was corrected. The right person won, and that's the way it should be. Shane Streeter has lost to some very good wrestlers this year. Only 4 losses. He starts on the bottom. He's losing 9-1. Minute and 40 seconds left in the third period.
On mat number 1, it looks like we are at 189 pounds. And it looks like it may be...
That's Landolt and Masella.
Yeah, I was going to say Joe Masella, Paul VI. He's a junior. He's 20-0 going up against Kevin Landolt. And Landolt from Holy Cross, he's 30-2. And he advanced by beating Mike Bell of Paulsboro in the preliminaries tonight by a score of 7-3.
Landolt's 2 losses this year. One was to Lawrence Fisher of Brawling City, who earlier in the year, remember reading about him having all those pins, everybody in the first period, and kind of didn't make it at the end of the year. And the other loss in the Region 7 semifinals, Landolt lost to Paul Woodley of Nottingham 8-4.
Woodley's still alive, John.
Yep.
He'll be coming up shortly. But there's an injury timeout here. And Landolt, by the way, does own a win over Masella last year. Masella hasn't lost this year. However, he did lose to Kevin Landolt last year in I believe, the districts.
Just taking a look around the gymnasium, we have no wrestling going on because both mats are injury timeouts.
Amazing, isn't it?
Could be the first time.
It's been
All
fast
right, Nick,
and furious.
Let's take a listen to John. What do you have for us?
Well, we got injuries on mat 1. We got injuries on mat 2. So let me take a little opportunity to read about our last Hall of Famer that we'll talk about tonight, sponsoring this great meet. Howard Pomeroy, inducted last November into the Hall of Fame, a 63 graduate of Triton, where he wrestled 3 years under varsity under Hall of Famer Al Pallone. Pomeroy's been involved in the sport over 3 decades, twice a district runner-up. 12-0, entering the district finals his senior year at Triton before his season ended with a loss to future Hall of Famer Tom Cabal of Woodbury. Pomeroy continued competing wrestling as a 4-year member of Doug Parker's New England champions at Springfield College. Came back to South Jersey in '65, started his teaching career at Haddon Heights, where he was the head wrestling coach from '69 through '75. A registered varsity official for 10 years, he officiated on the group, district, regional, and state levels, including the 1984 state finals. Currently the athletic director at Haddon Heights High School and has continued to stay involved in wrestling as a member of the executive committee of the South Jersey Wrestling Hall of Famer. Inducted last November into the South Jersey Wrestling Hall of Fame, Howard Pomeroy.
Well, we're on mat number 2, and Greg Rhyme of Delsey's leading the match 9-2, third period, over Shane Streeter of Camden.
And I believe Streeter just got a warning for stalling for hesitating on coming back out of bounds, and you don't want to hesitate against Greg Rhyme because he's on you like a cat and gets another takedown.
He now leads 11-2, 53 seconds remaining in the second period, the third period.
I think Streeter's got a classic case of those HEWs, Nick. Had enough wrestling.
Had enough wrestling, HEW. Never heard that. Never heard it. Like it. I wish I made it up.
Well, my pal the Jet, a member of the Hall of Fame committee, Ed Poland from Collingswood. He went to Region 7, I went to Region 8. He came down Saturday to Region 8. He said, well, there were a few wrestlers last night that had the HEWs. I said, HEWs? Yep, they had enough wrestling.
We're on mat number 1. 1 minute remaining in the first period.
That's Joe Masella with the opening takedown with a minute to go in the first period, Nick. The Region 7 champion, undefeated from Paul VI, and a real good size 189-pounder. Masella, as a freshman, wrestled at 171 for Haddon Heights. His family moved, and he transferred to Paul VI, where the last 2 years he's been nothing but dominant.
44 seconds remaining in the first period.
2-0 Masella. Wrestling Landolt, who he has not wrestled this year, but did wrestle last year twice, and they split. I like Masella's chances, Nick. I really do. I look at 189 pounds, and I see the number 1 seed, Ricky Krieger from Del Valle. He's a heck of a wrestler. His only loss is by an illegal slam. And I see Eric Herring stuck up in that top bracket. That's the Buna wrestler who won the Region 7 tournament. But here, Joe Masella down in the bottom bracket, I believe he's seated 3rd. And, I'm sorry, he's seated 6th. And Masella in the 6th spot has an excellent chance, I believe, to advance to the final. I haven't seen Krieger this year. Krieger's a heck of a wrestler. I saw him last year in our dual meet with Delaware Valley, unfortunately, and he pinned Michael Bell. Michael Bell, only a freshman at the time, and that was a match that we tied, and it's going to be an interesting weight class, but I really like Masella's chances here. He seems to be in control as we end the first period.
Lucky for Landau, because there was some back points going to happen there.
Barry Jackson had the hand out. He was with the 1 count.
John, what's the final? I can hear it over the announcers on mat number 2.
We just finished up on mat number 2, and Greg Rhyme of Delsey High School got his 31st win against 1 loss. He defeated Shane Streeter of Camden 15-4.
So both Region 8 finalists at 171 pounds advance.
You know, John, one of the things I wanted to mention, I think a lot of times when you're undefeated, maybe that loss didn't hurt Greg Rhyme. Might have taken a little bit of the pressure off.
Well, I'm sure.
If you're going to lose, it's best to lose in a final, so at least you can keep continuing.
Right, I think it might have taken a little of the pressure off. He really came out like a buzzsaw tonight. He wrestled a pretty good wrestler in Shane Streeter. Here you can see that Joe Masella on mat number 1 has a little problem, maybe with a contact.
And it looks like that's the indication.
It looks like they're ready to go. Roy Fenimore looking in there. I don't know what he's asking.
Dr. Roy, the eye doctor now.
Boy.
1:48 remaining in the second period.
Think he should have his eyes
Joe
shut.
Masella in on a takedown.
Nice dump by Joe Masella. Good fireman's carry takedown on the line. And he leads 4-1.
Down on mat number 2, that's Eric Herring, the undefeated wrestler from Buna High School. Had the early takedown, just got back points, 3 back points. He's wrestling Paul Woodley of Nottingham.
John, I'm real impressed with this Eric Herring. I mean, we saw him in the Region 8 finals, and he took care of Mike Bell very quickly. But he is a true 189-pounder, very physical and very quick.
And he's 30-0 entering this match. Paul Woodley entering the match 22-3. Lost to Landau, lost to Dunksley of Petty, and he lost to Masil of Paul VI in the Region 7 finals.
Really impressed by Herring. He hasn't been out on the mat very long in the last couple weeks, has he, John?
No, he takes things over in a hurry.
Well, he's leading this match 7-0 with 51 seconds remaining in the first period.
You know, Eric Herring, 68-17-2 in his career. First in the districts as a sophomore and first in the districts as a junior, but I don't even remember seeing him in Region 8 last year. Of course, he was 3rd in the district, so he probably went out early in that match. But he had 25 falls going into the Region 8 final, and he got his 69th win in his 26th fall against Mike Bell. $7-0 lead, Eric Herring.
A stalemate call at 24 seconds. You know, in the regional finals, I don't remember seeing Herring's left leg taped up like that. It looks like he has an injury. It looks like he has a tape, but you know, I didn't really see that much of him. It was only a minute, few seconds, and it probably was taped. It looks like he has a bruised thigh or something on the upper thigh.
Maybe Mike Bell bit him.
I think he did have that coming into the
Did he have that?
So don't accuse Mike Bell of biting anyone. But
as Coach Anuszewski jumps in.
Yes.
One of the things that I will say, though, about Herring, I hope he's working hard at practice because he hasn't been getting a lot of work out on the mat.
Well, he's now leading.
He's been out there for a while.
They've taken the 2 points away. We lost 2 points. He was leading 7-0. Now it's 5-0 with 15 seconds remaining in the first period.
Yeah, I thought they had put 2 points up there for something they didn't see. And it's just like the Rhyme and Ernie Carter match down at the regionals. Oh, here's a spladle. Oh my.
1 second.
Not enough time. 2 points. Now it's 7-0.
So Eric Herring taking a 7-0 lead going into the second period, 189 pounds.
Pretty impressive, Nick. Pretty impressive. You know, I heard a lot all year and I never saw him, but I've been impressed with what I saw in the regions so far tonight.
Kind of reminds me, Steve, of last year when Charlie Phones, was it, marched into the finals against a Buna wrestler?
Yeah, he went against Ron Roberts and went out and got the first takedown. And from then on, it was all Ron Roberts all the way to the state quarterfinals. And he did a great job all the way to the state quarterfinals where he ran into pretty tough wrestling.
A stall warning called against
Paul Woodley.
Woodley of Hamilton North. He's down 7-0. And
what's happening over on mat
taking
1,
a look,
Nick?
Steve, on mat number 1.
On mat
Looks like
number
there's
1.
an injury timeout, but since there's an injury timeout and Eric Herring is leading 7-0.
And trying to turn his man.
Well, let me give you a little report on what's going on mat number 1 anyway.
I was afraid of that.
And that's where Joe Masella is leading Kevin Landolt 6-4 with 26 seconds to go in the second period. So that's about all that's happening there, but we can go back to the match we're watching. Ooh, looks like an injury.
Well, I saw Paul Woodley really extending Eric Herring's leg, and potentially dangerous was called.
Yes, absolutely.
Looks like the other leg.
Yeah, he's holding the right knee. It's the left thigh that's taped.
So 58 seconds remaining in this second period. It's all Eric Herring of Buna.
Stands have thinned out a little bit, Nick. Earlier this evening, probably 2,300 people in here, and quite a few people have headed for the exits. Got a big day of work ahead of them tomorrow when they get a good night's sleep, which I intend to do soon after this telecast. Don't forget, Nick, you won't be there because you're taking some kind of a silly law course exam or something. But March 16th at Paulsboro High School at 7 o'clock, the South Jersey All-Stars, as we see a stall point given to Eric Herring to make it 8-0. South Jersey Region 7 and 8 seniors, the top-ranking seniors, those who wish to participate, will be competing against the State of Delaware All-Star team. And next Tuesday, March 16th, at Paulsboro High School.
Let's take a look at what's happening on mat number 1, where we just ended the second period.
Second period, Nick, and Masella leads. And now we're back to mat number 2, where Herring just recorded a fall.
Oh yes, and I think that counts. Yes.
Yep, it's official. So Eric Herring of Buna will win this match with a fall at 3:59.
Well, that's no surprise that it ended in a fall.
I think they'll count that as 4 minutes, Nick.
Nick, are you going to law school?
No, I'm in my master's program for human resources management, but since John put me in law school and already threw me out of the...
Because just what we need around here is another lawyer. I mean...
Joe Enos will be happy to hear that.
Well, Joe Enos doesn't want any more lawyers either. Take some business away.
Is Joe Enos a lawyer? Oh yeah, he's my lawyer.
Joe Enos is a very good lawyer.
Former Paulsboro wrestler in his own right. A dandy little dapper performer.
But one of the things I will say, Nick, is since I am your financial planner, I want you to make some more money so that we have some investing to do.
Steve, my financial planner, I get a birthday card from him. He doesn't even sign. It's a computer. You think he would, out of one card a year, he'd sign it. No, Steve, and then he sends me a business card with it every time, as if I don't have enough of them. Well, anyway, Steve, we're back at mat number 1, and it's the beginning of the third period.
Kevin Landolt on top, behind 6'4", and he looked really good on top in his first match against Michael Bell, so be careful here, Joe Masella, because this is where Kevin Landolt seems to excel, and that's in the top position.
Well, Landolt working to the side, or excuse me, working from behind. He may be called for stalling here. He's got to get to the side and make it look like he's trying for the pin.
Well, he better try for something since he's down 6'4", with a minute 17 to go in the third period. I think he is trying. Masella's a tough customer, though. I think Masella might get hit. No?
Yeah, it's going to be on top. There's going to be 1 point awarded here.
I don't think Ricky Little, the coach, former Haddonfield wrestler, coach of Holy Cross, Landolt's call, really likes the call here.
Yeah,
Well, that's
Landau
a
was
big-
called on that one because I guess he wasn't trying for the pin. That's a big point, Steve.
Oh, it's huge. You know, here's 7-4 lead, a minute 9 and being in a defensive position. You know, that now he needs to turn him for 3. He's got an arm bar in, so he's working. He's going to come out to the side. Macella's really strong, though. We don't have the, there's a warning on the bot, there's a point.
And the
So he
point
gets
is now back.
Right, and he better move or he's going to get hit again.
That called turnabout is fair play?
Yeah, it's called a payback in
Well, he
the
better
other
move
sport.
quick. He better move carefully because that bar's in deep. And here he comes. Here comes, oh, I don't believe it.
2-point near fall, though. If that move was going, there's got to be some back points, and there's the back points. So Landau gets the 2-point near fall, Steve, and it's tied 7-7 with 39 seconds remaining in the match.
Excellent call by Barry Jackson, the official
I
there.
agree with you, Steve, because he was going over. I think he was going over. If the move was completed, he would have been put on his
And
back.
the question is, why didn't he get 3?
See, now you throw that stuff on me.
Well,
No, I don't know that.
I think once you break the plane,
because you're injured, you got to stop the
reason
match.
it was obvious he was going to get 2. It wasn't obvious he was going to get 3 because he would have had Holy Mare for 5 seconds. He could have maybe rolled through that. But the plane was broken. He already started to count. Then he stopped it for the potentially dangerous, so he's got to give at least 2.
Right, and I think if the plane is broken, you can give 3.
If you think he's definitely going to get the 3, that's the referee's judgment.
Well, here's a situation where it's a 7-7 match now. Warnings on both wrestlers. 39 seconds to go. And the number 3 or third place wrestler from Region 7 is wrestling the Region 7 champion in a dogfight.
That's amazing, huh? If Woodley didn't beat Landau in the Region 7 semifinals, this would have been a Region 7 final. Down on the other map, by the way, heavyweight division, Steve Randazzo of Haddon Township is all tied up with Pete Bilone of Buna, 2-2 after the first period.
Well, it looks like Joe Macella is going to be able to continue. 39 seconds, we're tied. And both wrestlers have been called for stalling, and points have been awarded.
Ironically, you got 2 Region 7 wrestlers here, Nick, so that'll be their first win in Region 7 since 145 pounds. But they're going to get 1 here, and they're probably going to get 2 at heavyweight.
Well, I really think that Region 8 is pretty tough there in the middle with the Suitors and the Birds and Jason Brown and some of those guys, a couple of the Highland wrestlers, Dively.
30 seconds remaining, we're tied 7-7, 189 pounds.
Trying to apply the bar again. Good hand control that time by Macella, and he gets the escape.
There's the escape, 18 seconds remaining. Macella.
But he needs to be tough here because if he gets hit for stalling, we're going OT.
10 seconds. We're out of bounds. We're starting over. 7 seconds remaining, and it's Joe Macella up Paul the 6th leading. 8-7.
Macella needs to step forward here, Nick.
There's a shot by Landau. He's
Gonna
driving
get hit.
forward. 5 seconds. 3. And that's going to be it. Joe Macella, Paul the 6th, will take a 8-7 victory over Kevin Landau of Holy Cross.
Good match there, Nick. And a game effort by Kevin Landau.
Well, down on the other mat, in the heavyweight, as we see Bill Duff, the defending state champion, come out on the mat. Down there, Pete Bilone just got a reversal in the second period to take a 5-4 lead on Steve Randazzo of Haddon Township.
And we're waiting for the defending state champion. That's Bill Duff, the only state champion in this super region, coming up on mat number 1.
Only defending state champion.
Excuse me, not the only another state champion, Matt Suter, former state champion, but the only defending state champion is Bill Duff of Delran High School, the heavyweight. Sorry, Matt.
Well, it's Bill Duff of Delran. He is a senior. He's 29-0, going up against Dom Coniglio of Hamilton East, and he is 29-1. Dom Coniglio taking a 3-2 victory over Anthony Riccardi from Washington Township to advance to this round.
Caniglio's only loss in Region 7 in the semifinals to Duff, 4-3.
Well, listen, I have it on reliable source from his grandmother.
Yes.
Okay, that Bill Duff was fighting the flu that day.
I have it on a reliable source from my Courier Post reporter, Lee Wagner.
Okay.
Verifies what Grandmom said. Yes, he was feeling the effects of the flu. It wasn't exactly his type of match, but boy, look at the difference in size between Caniglio and Duff. But Duff's speed and strength, boy, that's an uncommon denominator.
John, you just said strength.
Yep.
And he just bear hugs Caniglio.
Oh,
in
look at that. Oh, my.
And he's got Caniglio. If Caniglio doesn't let go of his head, he's going to be pinned.
Oh, my.
I think he's going to get pinned anyway.
Yeah, there's a 1:13 left in the first period. That's plenty of time for Bill Duff because now he's working the half Nelson. As soon as he throws the half in and tightens it up, I think he's going to put Caniglio away.
Oh, brother.
He's taking his time, working up, locking his hands. Bill Duff going to Tennessee on a football, going for football. He takes a pin with a 1-minute, 3-second pin over Dom Caniglio.
Is he on a mission or what?
You know, that's got to help a little bit because if you are fighting the flu, you want to get on and off the mat as quick as you can, and he does. And let's go to mat 2, John, where there's 52 seconds remaining in the third period.
And 5-4, Bailon of Buna is leading. You see Randazzo trying to get a reversal with the 45 seconds left. He's got the reversal, and he's going to get back points.
I don't know. Nope, he only got a 1 count.
The official's awful slow. It's the only official I don't know the name of. I don't think I want to know his name. Who is it?
25 seconds remaining in the third period. Steve Randazzo.
Who's the official?
Steve, who's the
Last
official?
name is Rico.
Oh, Matt Rico.
That's Matt Rico.
From
yeah,
the
that's
Shore chapter. Okay, it must have. I thought he had different hairstyle last week. 14 seconds left. Randazzo leading 6-5. Randazzo advanced earlier this evening by pinning Mike Gattuso of West Deptford. You see Pete Bailon, the all South Jersey center.
Don't count
on the
Pete
bottom.
Bailon out. There's 14 seconds.
Yep.
Very quick wrestler. There's the Granby by Bailon. 9 seconds. Randazzo, obviously the heavier wrestler, able to control Bailon. It looks like he's going to ride Bailon out and win the match.
Yes, he does.
So
6-5 final score. And guess what, Nick? That means there were 14 wrestlers who won this evening from Region 8 and 12 who won from Region 7. 13-13 split earlier, dead even. 14-12 for Region 8 in this next round.
Seems like there's a lot of parity in these 2 rounds with Region 7 and 8.
no question.
Let's take a break from Cherry Hill East High School and come back with the wrap-up right after this. And we're back at Cherry Hill East High School where we just completed the pre-quarterfinals in the NJSIAA State Wrestling Championship. It's been a great tournament for the first 2 rounds. Region 7 and 8 in the preliminary rounds, head-up battles 13-13. And in the second round of tonight, John, Region 8 won 14, Region 7 12.
Well, that's as close as I've seen those 2 regions over the years, Nick. Region 8 has shown a lot of superiority. I guess what, Steve, the last maybe 7-8 years.
At least.
And Region 7 started coming on a little bit last year, but this tonight, I'm very impressed with some of the wrestlers in Region 7. They did a fine job.
No question, and I think that what you saw was that not only are the first place wrestlers from Region 7 outstanding, but there's some depth in that region this year as the first round came out, what, 13-13,
13-13, yeah.
So that's very impressive.
And this round that just was completed, both 3-pounders from Region 7 were victorious, both 12-pounders and one of the 19-pounders. So 5 of the first 6 wrestlers were advanced in Region 7. Then they had one from 125, one from 130, one from 135, one from 145. Then they hit the drought, and they didn't have anything until Masila won at 189, and then both heavyweights won. So they were tough down the bottom, closed it out in the last 2 weight classes, and that makes it 14-12. The impressive thing is Bill Duff, who beat Caniglio by 1 point in the regions when he was feeling the effects of the flu, he came here this evening on a mission. He's the defending state champ. He's #1 seed in the state, and he made quick work of it tonight with a big pin. And of course, Matt Suter first in the state 2 years ago, second in the state last year. Very, very focused right now, wrestling entirely different than he did last year at this point, and he looks like he's raring to go.
Okay.
All our number 1 seeds advanced, and I think it's going to be an interesting weekend, Nick.
Well, it's been a great 2 rounds here so far, and will be an interesting weekend. And that'll wrap it up here at Cherry Hill East High School. For John Vogeding, Steve Anuszewski, I'm Nick Burzichelli. Thanks for watching.